Twist.
Hello.
Are we live?
Yes, we are.
Excellent, excellent. What a
Great way to start it. Yo. What is up, guys? What are you laughing for?
no! I thought Steve was gonna make an intro.
Oh,
That's what I thought too, Steven. Where's the intro, man? Start us
Sorry.
off.
I'm
Start us
looking
off. Start us off.
Okay, this is what happened.
He's so caught up.
I'm looking at the wrong VOD.
Nice.
He
Wait.
wasn't even on the freaking Twitch link.
Wait.
It's okay.
I'll be
I counted
right back.
down for you.
Hold up. My parents are calling me. Oh no.
Okay, I'll start us off.
Sorry.
Don't worry. Take it.
No. Okay.
All right, yo, what is up, everybody? Good to have you guys here, joining us today. The the image is gonna look a little bit messed up, guys. So just
Why
hold on.
am I a laundry basket?
We gotta
Mommy.
wait until Steven shows up. You know.
All right, fair.
I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why it does this.
So
Actually, I might be able to fix it. Give me 1 second. Let me try to fix this real quick.
oh, that's so weird. It's like I'm okay. Anyway, I guess I'll just start us off. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 2 of Pass the Salt. That is, we've totally rebranded. We're Lightly Salted TV now, as you can see. And Pass the Salt is our, our podcast of this channel, where the
podcast
three of us-
interviews.
yeah, the podcast and interviews where the three of us kind of just sit and chat and vibe about various spicy topics. Today's topic, as you can see, is relationships, which always a fun one to discuss, always a fun one to share ideas and get ideas, even though the three of us know nothing about them, except Tommy. I think Tommy might know.
What do you mean? Okay, first off, we all have different relationships. I feel like you might be pushing this a little too far. Come on, let's be real here, okay? When we talk about relationships, we're talking about not just romantic relationships here. We're talking about parental relationships, friendships. Like, we're gonna be covering all the bases today. So we're just we'll fix it. Don't worry, we'll get there. Although this little setup here, while we're waiting for Steven, you know what? Let's just do this. I haven't done this yet. I haven't said we're going live. This is off the record. Sorry for those that just tuned in. But hey, if you're in chat, say hi to my IG because I'm about to do a story real quick. All right. So Let's see here. Yo, what is up, guys? Good to have you guys join us. We are live on twitch.tv/lightlysalted.tv. We're doing the Pass the Salt episode 2 podcast today. And if you want to say hi to chat. Say hi to chat. We got chat here. Hold on. Let me switch the camera here. Say hi to chat. Chat saying hi back, or at least one or two people are. But hey, you could be part of chat. You can be joining us here. So come check us out. Twitch.tv/lightlysalted.tv. All right, there we go.
That was
And that's
great,
gonna
Tommy. If
that's
I
gonna
were
go
one
now.
of your followers, I would instantly click on that link
Thank you.
and make
Thank
my
you.
way
I
over
need
here.
that extra support, you know?
Are you
If I don't
feeling
get that
gassed?
support.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
are you gassed? I'm trying
Yeah,
to
gas me
you.
up. Gas me up. Gas me up a little more.
Course.
I need to get hyped up.
I'm just looking at the I'm just looking at the stream right now. This is such an unfortunate angle. Hold on, let me just if I
Okay, look, it'll fix itself. It'll fix itself once Steven shows his camera again.
Okay.
It'll fix itself, but we'll
No.
wait otherwise. But you know, fill us in on how you're doing or how you've been doing. You know?
How I've been doing.
Yeah, man. Like I said, like we were talking earlier, we haven't heard from you in like a decade. You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of facts. That's kind of facts. I have not tuned into Cell for a hot minute. That is fair.
Yeah. So like, you'll fill us in.
You know, I think everyone can relate. It is exam season. Grinding those exams. Got my first grade back today. Got an A- in the course. Super freaking proud of myself. And this A- comes after I originally got a B+, and then I asked the prof for a boost, and she boosted me to A-. So that's my
Dang.
PogChamp moment of the day. Yes, sir.
A-. That's a big plus. That's a big plus.
That's a
Round
big
of
dub.
applause.
That's a whole letter up. You know what I mean?
Round of applause.
So like
Yeah.
goals to straight A semester, yo, all that much closer. Janie K92 says, "Hey BBs," and I say back, "Hello to you, Janie K." Chat, let me know how you're doing.
And Spicy Boy, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. There we go. He's back. We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay.
See, look, it fixed itself. All right, now you can sit up again.
Did it though? Oh, it did. Okay.
All right. Look, fresh start. Chat, welcome to the stream. We're good. Steven, you're still muted, but you can unmute yourself whenever you're ready to go. And then let's do this again. Welcome to Pass the Salt episode 2. If you didn't hear Ashley's intro, you're going to hear mine here, and as well as Steven's. We did rebrand once again to Lightly Salted from Christian Esports League. We want to make sure that, of course, we still have our Christian background, as we are trying to use this as a ministry and sharing, God's love to the gaming community. But as well, we want to make it open and make sure that we are an open community, not just for, the Christian side, but of course the non-Christian side as well. So we just want to make an open community here. And Steven, welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, Franco, lead us in.
Well, welcome to, as Tommy and Ashley probably have said, welcome again to
Third intro of the day.
Third time the charm, right? Pass the Salt episode 2. Today we're talking about relationships. Not just romantic relationships, but family and friendships as well. So we're going to get right on started with our first category, which is family. So the first question that we have is, how are your relationships with your guardians and or siblings, if you have any, growing up as kids? So do any one of you want to answer that first?
I don't know. I think the twin should start.
The twin, yeah.
The twin.
The twin.
I think the twin should start.
Okay. Yeah, I do have one sister. She's a twin, my identical twin, suspected identical twin, and yeah, she's just my best friend. I don't know. I feel like my relationship with my sister has always been super tight, and I think it helps that we were close in age, and if when mom punished one of us, she punished both of us. So there's kind of like a solidarity there. Yeah. Tommy, do you have any siblings?
No, I'm an only child, actually.
Oh, snap. You actually
Yeah.
don't find that often. Okay, that's interesting. Interesting.
Really? I find it. Well, I feel like within our age group, right? Like
Yeah.
our generation, I feel like it's not like uncommon. I feel like it's a good split,
Really?
whether you have siblings or not. Yeah, I would say
I
so.
feel like I have rarely seen an only child. And I've always been very curious about only children because okay, not like how do I like what was it like for you growing up? There's nobody else in the house but you and your parents. So does that mean you're tight? You're super tight
Spicy
with your
boy
parents?
says one child policy. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, his
Sa-
parents escaped.
I
uh,
see.
um, yeah.
Yeah.
First, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sadly, the one child policy doesn't fit for me. I believe my parents have tried to have a second child, if I'm not mistaken, or rather, I'm the second child because their first was a miscarriage. That's what I know. I know that for a
Oh.
fact. Um, so they're like, maybe if we didn't have the miscarriage, you wouldn't be here. I'm like, true, true. But to answer your question, on the side of like, what was it like growing up? I think as an only for me, even though I was an only child, I didn't really grow up like one, and the main reason for that is like
Mhm.
my parents when they moved here, and then we got our first house, and stuff like that after we immigrated. My mom always did like homestays and stuff like that, so we had people who would rent out and stay. So it was like I always had like really older brothers and sisters living with me, right? I wouldn't call them uncles because they're like university whatever it is, but like it's
Yeah.
like they were like older brothers and sisters. They played with me every now and then, so I didn't exactly grow up when I was really young as like fully like alone. Of course, I still have those memories of literally playing with cars and doing this by myself. Um, but other than that, I think growing up, it was always if I didn't have a homestay person at my house, it was always like I always had cousins. So our home was like my whole extended family's in Korea. So whenever they want to come out and learn here, right, or go to school
Yeah.
here, they would come to my place and stay with me. So I've always had siblings in that way. I just realized you
Mhm.
can't see it, but siblings in that way, you know?
Siblings.
So yeah, it's just been really odd. So I think most people have said like, oh, you don't really seem like an only child because number one, you don't sound spoiled. And I'm like, man, that's a very easy indicator. Uh, and number two, it's like you're able to interact a little bit more casually or I guess easily with people is what people have said.
Mm,
So yeah, I as even though I've considered an only child, I definitely haven't grown up like one.
mm.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think for me it's similar to you, Tommy. So I'm an only child as well. Um, but growing up, I guess my parents aren't the traditional Asian parents, like very flexible about what I did, about a lot of things. And they also didn't really, what's the word? Not care for me.
Like they were very lax and kind of,
Yeah, they
you
were
know,
very
gave you
relaxed.
your
Like they
freedom.
didn't
Okay.
give me my freedom. Oh, spoil. That's the word I'm looking for. They
Oh,
also did.
Oh.
That's not.
okay.
And like
That's a
they
different
didn't
word.
care for me. I'm like, yo, that's kind of extreme though. Hold on a
That's a
second.
different word. That's a different word.
Or like
But yeah, like
discipline
they didn't
wasn't really a thing.
spoil me at all either, right? So it wasn't like a traditional kind of relationship between kind of like an only child and parents that would spoil their only child because that was their only child.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think growing up, I was more. I say this even now. I think growing up, I was more like like a really close friend with them. Obviously, there are things that make that differ. Like that makes it different from like my friends with my parents. Like there's specific things, but I think overall, in general, they're like really close friends with me as well.
Mm,
Yeah.
True. I mean, with my
Yeah.
parents, my mom's pretty chill. Actually,
Hmm.
like when I hear like friends around, like usually it's like, oh, the son is connected well with the father, and then the daughters connects better with the mom. right? But then for me, I connect more with my mom than I do with my dad. Like my mom and I are like that friend level, where
Mhm.
we'll joke around with each other and stuff like that. But with my dad, it's very like casual, just kind of hey, awkward son father, just
Yeah.
parental. It's always been kind of like
Yeah,
that
for
parental
sure.
and child thing. But with my mom, it's definitely a lot more chill because my mom's very liberal in the way she does things. So it's
Okay.
like a breath of fresh air. So it's very different from what you would expect. But of course, she was still harsh with me when I was younger, for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah, she beat you with the whip and with the belt buckle. Yeah, we know,
It
Tommy. We
was
know.
it was a vacuum
Oh,
pipe, but yeah, it is what it is.
it was a vacuum
Yeah,
pipe.
it was a straight. I remember it too. She's like,
Yikes.
you know that lying's a sin, and so she's like, she
You
took
know
out a
that lie,
vacuum pipe.
just have a
Yeah, she
vacuum
took out
pipe
a
ready.
vacuum pipe, and that was like,
Oh no.
I'll never forget that because like it's how so like okay, if you've been hit right by Asian parenting, you know that they'll hit you in places that you can't see where the bruises last, where you can't see. And so she didn't hit me on my hands with the vacuum pipe or my arm. That's easily like I wear t-shirts and shorts. You can easily see that.
Yeah,
But
that's yeah, yeah.
it was on my ass. Like
Of course.
so that
Of course,
like
of course.
it's like when I after I get bruised, it's like yeah, I can't sit properly. So at school, it just seems like I'm a little,
Oh
uncomfortable in my
no.
seat
Like a little
rather than
antsy. Yeah,
like
yeah.
Just a
you
little
got beat
antsy.
there with a vacuum pipe. Like those old vacuum cleaners. Yeah, you know what I'm talking
It's
about.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, of
Mm-hmm.
I
course.
remember that clearly. I remember that so clearly.
So
It's
who
like
was the
Yeah.
it's
discipline?
yesterday.
So who was the disciplinarian in your home? Was it your mom or your dad?
It was mostly my mom. Mostly my
Okay.
mom. My
And
dad
yet,
is like the one where he'll like pile up, and if it blows, like that's like I will be forever fear him when he blows. Yeah,
okay. Because I'm like,
like
your mom was the disciplinarian, and yet your mom is the one you're close to now.
yes, that is true. I mean, as I grow up, it's like it's just the way I talk, and then it hits a point where like you can't do anything to me anymore, so I no longer have the fear. But I'm not gonna be. It never hit the point where I'm like, now I'm going to turn this against you and have you cause fear in my life. I'm gonna cause fear in your life. It's like no, that's not the point, right? So it just hit a point where it's like I'm an adult, you're an adult, you have to understand that, and then we
Yeah.
can connect on an adult level rather than I'm your child. I still am, but you have to realize I'm at an age where I'm mature now. And so we can have
Mhm.
mature conversations and you don't have to treat me like a baby all the time, which she sometimes does, but
I love it when my mom treats me like a baby, like
I
no
don't because
capping.
it's all nagging.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean. No, my
It's
mom will
all
actually like call me
nagging.
baby, and she will like, like cuddle me and cut me fruit to eat, and it's
Do
very
you relate
nice.
with this, Stephen? I don't relate with this at all.
Okay,
Relate with
let
what?
me explain to you
Getting
my
babied by
Oh
parenting
your mom
life.
still.
no, no, that
I
no,
think
definitely
the
not.
I think the reason
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I
yeah.
get babied by my mom though is because like growing up, she was very much the disciplinarian, like dad was kind of not at home a lot because he was working all the time. So mom was
Yeah.
kind of the one who was, and I don't think mom ever wanted to be that type of parent. I think she wanted to,
Oh.
be the friend. And I remember growing up, she's like, I want to be your friend. But then she was also the one who like busted out the coat hanger, because
Right.
there's
Yeah,
no
Busted
one
yeah,
else at
out
yeah.
the
home to do
coat
that.
hanger.
And so I think when I reached a certain age, when it was like, okay, I've done, I washed my hands of this. I've done the best I could with raising her. Like she's an adult now. Whatever the type of the type of person she is and she becomes, that's kind of on her now. I think when I hit that age, which was like around 16, 17, around the time when I hit uni, actually, um, that's when she started, giving into like letting me be babied and like spoiling me the way that she always kind of wanted to. And yet, despite this, though, when you were like, fathers and daughters and mothers and sons have that special relationship, I'll rate and relate because like no matter, even though dad is kind of like the more petty parent, he also has a soft spot in my heart where
Mm.
I can't, like, even though mom is the one that babies me and she's the one that supports me through everything, and like, like there's just a spot in my heart for my dad that I,
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Steve, do you have that for your mom
yeah.
or your dad? Any parent?
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. I think not as much, but
Mm,
definitely it's definitely there.
mm,
Yeah. I think it's that idea of like at least I strongly feel like, of course, it's like, do I like the fact that I got beat when I was younger? No, absolutely not.
Hmm.
But did it
interesting.
grow me
Interesting.
into a better person today? Absolutely. I can't deny
Mm-hmm.
that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's lucky the
Sure.
fact that how I took it was different. Like my mentality of why I got hit and stuff like that. Like I understood why, and so
Yeah,
the
for
way I took it
sure.
was very different. Because I hear stories where like it's just resentment for the rest of your life.
Oh
Like, oh,
yeah, for
that's
Mm-hmm.
sure, for
and
Mm-hmm.
sure.
then like especially with culture these days, it's like with cancel culture and like just
Hmm.
quickly people like being allies with each other and be like, oh, your mom's so toxic, blah blah blah. Like I wouldn't ever call my mom toxic. Like if someone were to ask me like, oh, like why didn't you report it? Why didn't you like call
Report it and
yeah,
get
like why
beat
didn't you call
even more.
like child services and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no need to. Because, well, number one, it was funny because my mom's like, I dare you to call 911. You wouldn't do it. But number two, number two is just the idea where
Okay.
it's like, obviously I'm wrong, right? At
Yeah.
that point, I'm not getting hit because it's just she needed to hit me. Like, I'm thankful my parents weren't like alcoholics or anything like that. They didn't abuse me like every
Mm-hmm.
day. It's not like that. It was like when I got in trouble, I got in trouble because of something I did wrong. And so I can't complain about that because that's just their way of doing discipline. And I think like when I listen to David So's podcast, like he puts it in a really good way, where it was we're just or our parents are just trying to be better versions of their parents. And so when I hear about like what my mom went through and what she did to me, I'm like my level is like a 1 and her level what she got was like a 10. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous. Like she got her
Yeah.
head bashed into the floor. Like
Yikes.
like
Whoa.
I'm like
Okay.
Yikes.
who does that to their child? Like that's straight up abuse. And I'm like, but my grandparents love me. Like I would
That's
have
what my
Your
but
girlfriend
that's the
would
thing. I
do.
would
grandparents
have
trying to get into heaven is
yeah,
what
like
they trying to
I would
do.
have never known that about my grandparents and my mom's like child life. And like if I compare and I remember that fact, like my parents are trying to be
Their
the better
best.
version of their
Yeah.
parents, like it only
Yeah.
makes sense, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
start to understand and it breaks that mentality of like, oh, my parents are these all knowing superhero parents. No, it's like when you grow up, you're like, no, they're just as stupid and
Yeah.
idiotic as
Yeah. Yeah.
I am sometimes, right? They just don't know
Mm-hmm.
better at times, and that's what it means to be an adult, like a human.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So then, kind of segueing into our next question, this whole idea of tiger parenting, right? Do you guys agree with it, or do you guys disagree with it? Do you think it's correct? Is it wrong? Like, is there a right or wrong in terms of tiger parenting? What do you guys
Hmm.
think?
I'll go last on this one because I think I have a interesting perspective as a teacher on how I view this. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
That's
Interesting.
I'll go
true.
last on
Interesting.
this one.
I don't know. I don't think tiger parenting is about right or wrong. I think it's about like what your child needs, you
Okay.
know?
Yeah.
And um if you think you as a parent, if you think your child needs that, then naturally that's what you're gonna do. I don't know. I think my mom was a tiger parent earlier on because she thought that was what I needed, and then as I grew up and it was clear that that's probably not the best way to raise me, she changed her ways. I don't know. Um, is it wrong? I think okay, I don't think it's a matter of right or wrong. I think if you go down that route, or no matter which parenting take you follow, whether it's like a more lax or more strict or, whatever, you're just gonna bear fruit either way, and then you adjust based on that. So, and based on the fruit that I've seen from famous tiger parenting cases, like Amy Chua. Do you guys know who that is? She wrote the
No,
book Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother.
Oh,
Or
I have no
yeah, I think
idea.
Sounds like an
So Amy
interesting book.
Chua, she became very controversial because she
Mhm.
wrote this very short. It's a very fast read. This autobiography of her raising her two daughters, um, and they're now Harvard graduates. I think one of them's a professional tennis player, very accomplished in piano and violin, and they're gonna go far in life, right? And she's in her book. She's basically saying like, in order to get my kids there, I felt the need to become this tiger parent, and she got a lot of backlash for it because a lot of people were like, "That's abuse. Your kids are gonna be
Mhm.
scarred and whatever." But the way I see it is like, it's not about whether it's not about in that case like red or it's just like what fruit did it bear, and the fruit that it bore was she and her younger daughter Louisa had a really troubled and rocky relationship growing up, but now Louisa is also very accomplished and very disciplined and very successful at whatever it is that she puts her mind to.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that's what I think. I rambled. Steve?
That's the
No, that's
point of the
fine.
podcast,
Yeah.
ramble, yo.
Um. So yeah, I think I agree with Ashley. Um, on the fact that yeah, I don't think there's a right or wrong in terms of tiger parenting, but I think it comes down to if you're going to be a tiger parent or do the tiger parenting kind of route, I think it's very important to understand how to do it well and how it affects your child, right? Um, because I think sometimes it really depends on the child and the parent relationship as well. Like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I think you would just have to, as a parent, I obviously can't speak for parents because I'm not a parent, but I think as a parent, if I were to do the tiger parenting method myself, not saying that I will, but if I were to go down that route, I think I would have to understand my child a lot before I go down that route and understand what kind of methods are best to help them grow and whether being that authoritarian figure in their lives will help them grow or whether that will put them down to a place where they feel like they hate me, right? And if that's the case, then obviously I don't think I would go down that route or I would definitely change. Um, but
I guess it's all
yeah.
based on what you prioritize as a
Mhm.
parent.
Yeah, for
Like if you
sure.
prioritize your child's academic and
Yeah.
career, occupational success,
Yeah.
right? Then, and if that's what you value above all else, then it doesn't really matter. Or to you, I would imagine as a parent, whether or not your child hates you. And that's actually something Amy Chua says, even though
Mhm.
it hurt that Louisa would just scream like, I hate you and fight her
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
practicing piano for 5 hours a day, which she actually made her kids too, which is crazy to me. But regardless,
Yeah.
um, she was like, but in the end, like my goal was for Louisa to be successful. I didn't like my goal wasn't for Louisa to love
Mhm.
me or to have that intimate relationship with me. I just wanted her to be a successful, independent woman, which Louisa did eventually
Yeah.
become. Right. So
Right.
But do you
yeah.
Yeah.
think there is ways to, and this is like a question for both of you, I guess, or the chat if you want to answer too. But do you think there's ways where you can go the non-tiger route and give them the freedom to do whatever and still uh, be very successful?
So this is where my view on it kind of comes in. So
Mhm.
as an educator now,
Yeah.
I've learned a lot about, how to deal with kids. Like I've had I've had students come to me, and I know some of my students are watching this podcast. If you are, shout outs to my students right now. But
That's the
like
best.
I've had students come to me.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say names, but people like they don't explicitly say it, but they specifically tell me like through their actions and their words and how they treat me. Like I'm almost like a father figure to them, and it's weird
Mm.
because at my age, I don't expect to be a father for me personally. But
Oh, what are you gonna
like
do?
I am 27. I'm
Okay, okay, okay.
27. I could be a parent, absolutely, but like to them, I've had situations where students come to me as you know, a father figure for them, right? Where they're not being like, oh, like they're dependent on me for anything, but they
Yeah.
learn life lessons because of me. Is essentially what I'm trying to say, right?
Mm.
And so
Yeah.
the idea here is like, the reason why they see that is because with tiger parenting, I don't care whether or not you hit your kid or not. The difference between abuse and discipline is, can you tell your kid why you did it or why they are wrong? So the
Yeah.
only thing I dislike about strict parenting is not telling the kid why. Like if a like for
Mhm.
example, like if a kid who doesn't know much, right? Let's say they never like that never learned a specific thing. So let's talk like a 4-year-old, and like they're playing in the washroom for whatever reason, and then they, for some reason, their hand goes into the toilet. It's clean water, it's whatever it is, right? To them it's clean water, they
Yeah,
touch it.
yeah.
Let's just bear with me for a moment. It's
Space is
weird. Okay?
not.
Let's say the kid touches the water, right? The toilet water. What's most people's first reaction? The first reaction will be, what are you doing? Go wash your hands. Why would you touch that? That's disgusting, right? But then for the kid, it's their first response is, why are you yelling at me?
Mm.
Is this a reason to yell at me? It's not. The kid doesn't know. So why do you have to yell at the kid to get your point across? So that's where I've learned a lot, like through like education and stuff like that, like just the field that I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm like, I'm starting to learn these small, minute differences on behavior.
Mhm.
That it's like you really need to understand how you're responding to someone, whether or not it's required for urgency or not, right? Because you do something wrong, and yeah, you can yell at the kid, but did you ever apologize to the kid in the case you understood that you did something wrong, or did the kid truly understand it, like you guys were saying? Like if that point
Yeah.
is not sent across, then you've technically abused your child, in my opinion.
Mhm.
That, to me, that's
Mm.
abuse. You've
That's a very interesting take.
put like your step forward, you stomped on the kid and said, I'm king, and that's it, which is the whole tiger parenting thing. But
Mm.
there's a whole different idea right behind it.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
whole thing behind it is so different. Yeah. So when I see like helicopter parents come in who are like all over my face about like, oh, like why didn't you do this for my kid, or blah blah blah, parent teacher interviews. Thankfully, I haven't had to deal with many, but like they're all up in my face trying to go up. I kind of feel bad for the kid, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
And parent teacher interviews for me are just it's not a parent teacher interview for me. It's the student and me talking with the parent there to watch.
Yeah.
That's how I do my parent teacher interviews. When I talk, I don't even look at the parent. I look at the kid
Mm.
when I
Mm.
explain my things, because the kid's the one that needs to know. What does the parent's just there to know what's happening? The kid needs to
Yeah.
learn the lesson, right?
Mhm.
So that's my whole perspective on it. And I've learned a lot. I'm very thankful for where I am, because it's
Mhm.
helped me
Mhm.
gain all these perspectives on how I like take certain things. I've yelled at my students before, but I immediately apologize after. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
a very touchy situation. I
For
like I
sure.
could bring up another one later, like another situation later. But yeah, it's very, very touchy. I don't know. That's what it is. What it is.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's segue into the next question then. So, would you raise, now that we talked a little bit about how I guess we were raised and our relationships with our guardians and siblings as well, would you raise your own kids the same way you were raised?
The only thing I would probably change is the hitting part. As I grow up, I'm like,
Okay,
I don't think you ever need to hit your kid. I am on that, firmly on that side. You don't
firmly.
ever need
Mm.
to
Okay.
hit your kid.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to
I
hit your
it,
kid. There's always another way to do it.
it would depend on my kid though, right? Because if my kid is
It would
anything
depend
like
on my
me,
kid.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would depend on my kid. Because if my kid exactly like me? If so, I would, you know, but no, but in it's true though.
Is my kid exactly?
Right, like,
Okay,
my
yeah,
only experience with being
guess so.
parented is as, like, myself. My kid is not me,
I
right? So
mean,
whether or
I
not
would
I would
hope your
parent the
kid
same way
would
my parents did is
somewhat. some ways be like you.
It'd
Oh,
be
obviously
so.
the
It's
kid
like,
is
oh,
down.
this kid, my child, is like me when I was younger, and I was an ass. So I need. That's such a, it's just sorry. That's just
Oh
so funny to
no,
But
me if it
but
ever
like
turned out that way.
but your kid might not end up like you though, right?
that's
Or
Yeah,
you
true.
could
exactly.
adopt
That's
a kid.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Or you could
For
adopt a
sure.
kid. So I think like whether
That's
or not
true.
I would parent the way my parents parented me, it is really dependent on the person that I
Hmm.
observe my child to be.
For
Well,
sure.
I obviously that could be construed as a cop out answer and like very idealistic, but like I don't know. Sure, I would occasionally spank my kid. I think um spanking has a purpose sometimes, right? Or I'm a very firm believer of like punishment has to fit the crime. So,
Mm,
you know,
I can agree with that.
right? Like oh what was a punishment that I saw that was like, "Oh, okay." Or like not finishing their food or not eating what it is that I put out for them, right?
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's like an issue with entitlement and whatnot, right?
Hmm.
Then just like give them the same freaking dish the next meal, and then keep giving it to them until it rots or they finish it. Like
I tell
Oh my
Ross.
gosh.
You're gonna have a lot of rotten food.
Dang, that's
that's what
intense.
that's what
That
my
is
parents did for
intense.
me, and it worked.
Dang.
They're just like, you don't want to finish it. That's fine. You don't have to be hungry now, but you have to
It's not a
finish it.
waste of food,
You don't
bro.
want to waste your
I'll
food,
finish
so
it.
we'll package this up, put it into the fridge, and the next meal we'll keep eating whatever fresh food we made, and you get to keep your cold oatmeal from this morning. Like that's
Oh,
just
Yeah, that's
oh
Monka S for
no.
sure. That's a huge
Yeah.
Monka S.
what I don't know what Monka S means. I gotta
Oh
Google
my
that. What is
gosh.
Monka S? Hey Alexa,
That
what is Monka X?
oh my gosh. Come on, you're on Twitch. You should know what Monka S
I've been
is.
on
Yeah,
Twitch for
yeah.
like it's like 5 months.
Actually, you should be the right generation for the word monk-ass to know what it
Yeah.
means.
Bro, don't even like a Monka S. Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Uh,
Monka S is a Twitch
what
TV.
background
Oh,
are you guys coming from on this topic?
what background are you guys coming from? Oh, we're but coming from background of zero parenting experience and
Yeah,
zero
yeah,
life experience.
zero
So
life
you have three
experience.
This is just
bonobos.
you just have three people just talking about random topics, and we're just here talking about
Uh,
I think
You have
the
three
the
people
background. It's not
pretending
like
to
we
know
have
what
zero
is up.
background in this. It's just the idea of hey, how are we parented? Like, how did how
Hold
did
up.
uh,
we get
Suikage
raised? That
asked, "Oh,
idea.
I meant how were you guys raised?" I
No,
was raised with the belt. I was raised with the. Oh, I think the worst punishment I ever got was I went to art, so I used to take art lessons, and then I would rip
yeah,
pages out of my sketchbook and
yeah,
draw like stupid stuff on it and chuck it away, and that was like a pretty decently expensive
yeah.
sketchbook. So what my parents would do, or my mom did, my dad didn't do anything, but like she counted all the pages that were missing, and for every page that was missing, she would whoop me once with a spatula.
Oh,
Dang.
Very pain. But I never ripped
dang.
another page out again. So
True.
True, true.
you
Well,
know,
okay.
you get what you
Mine,
want.
my traumatic experience, and I remember this vividly.
Oh no.
I didn't even get hit. Let me put
Yeah,
this out there. That's how traumatic it was for me. So, like I said, my dad, he's a pastor.
yeah,
Shout out to my dad, man of God. But when he gets really pissed, it's
yeah.
piled up anger, right? So it's super piled up anger. Um, and so one time his fuse blew, and he took me to the side room, and then like he's like, "Wait here, sit here, wait here," and he closes the door, and he
Wait, what did you
leaves, and
do?
I'm like, I don't even remember what I did. All I know is he was pissed, and then he comes back with two things: a hockey stick and a 2x4. Okay, a hockey stick and a 2x4, and not just one 2x4, two 2x4s. All right, and so basically he comes in and he's like he's like pissed off, he's rampaging at this point, right? And I'm just sitting there crying, bawling my eyes out, and
Oh
then he
no.
hands me a 2x4. And
Yeah,
for like a middle school kid, a 2x4 is huge.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It's pretty
2x4
big.
is huge. And he goes, hit yourself. Not even I'm hitting you. He says, hit yourself as hard as you think is required for what you just did. and I'm crying, and so I'm trying to hit myself. And you know how you can't hit yourself hard if it's personal pain, like because
Yeah,
Your
yeah,
like if
brain
you ask someone to
stops you, man.
yeah, if you ask yourself to slap yourself really hard in the face, right, you
Yeah.
stop. You can't hit yourself extremely hard compared to how someone else can hit you. So
Yeah.
he's like hit yourself. So I hit myself. He's like, that's it. That's how
Oh,
hard you
no.
think. And I'm like, I
Oh,
can't do it. I'm
no.
crying. And do you know what he does after? He takes the other 2x4 and he hits himself, and he starts like beating himself up with like on his like
Oh,
thighs and stuff. And he said,
Oh.
if you're not gonna hit yourself, then I'll hit myself for how much is required that needs to be done for what you did. And he starts nonstop beating himself until he's like completely like purple on
yikes.
both of his like nonstop. And I'm crying. I'm telling him to
Oh.
stop. Like
Oh,
nonstop,
no.
bam, 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 and I'm crying, yo. I'm
Oh,
bawling this
no.
whole time. Like my most traumatic experience actually wasn't even me getting hit. It was literally my dad hitting himself, and that was just
Oh, no.
like mind blown. Like
The
Yikes.
it was
psychological
crazy.
implications of
Psychological.
that.
Yeah, my dad, like that happened once in my life. Never again. Just that one time. Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's a great dad. Okay, I'm not saying he's not a great dad. All of chat's going like, "Yo, what's going on?" Like that's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah, let me explain. Like he's essentially just his point of view was if you can't punish yourself, then I have to be punished because I'm the father that raised you, so I must have done a bad job. That was his mentality, right? So it was like this whole thing, and I've never had that happen to me again. And especially as an adult, like I can see where he comes from.
Sure.
But have I ever had nightmares about that moment? No, not exactly. Not nightmares. It was just like I just asked my dad never to do it again because like especially because like after like whenever trying to go back to I think what someone said in chat. My parents would always either they would talk to me after this whole situation has ended, or they would like I would catch them praying and crying. Like that changes a lot for you as a kid for me.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
when you see your parents crying because they never want to hit their kid and having to
Mhm.
resort to that, like they feel like they've lost and felt broken, and it shakes you as a child. Like it's like if your parents actually love you, you have to realize they don't want to hit you. They never
For
do.
sure, for sure.
Right? That's physical pain is not something you want to inflict onto someone. Otherwise, that's
Mhm.
abuse. So yeah, that's my
Yeah.
most traumatic experience. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, that also became my most traumatic experience.
That whole story, Tommy's story, has officially become the most traumatic
it was pretty
experience
nuts.
for Ashley.
It was pretty nuts. Yo, I feel all
boy.
hot sharing that too. Jeez, my room's
That's-
hot right now.
Okay, that's unique.
Yeah,
That is
pretty
an
unique.
experience I
Yeah.
have never heard of before.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
no
like I
flame
said,
or
once.
judge. Once, and once was all you needed. And you know what? What was the fruit of that? Tommy hopefully became a better kid. And
Exactly. I'm a good person, guys. I swear. Sometimes.
although I'm kind of like, okay. I'm kind of impressed that your dad managed to like inflict that kind of pain. You know what? That's just okay. Cool. Thanks for sharing, Tommy.
No problem.
That's
Yeah.
what
I
Kage
mean,
said.
like
sure.
it's not to put the main thing here is not to put my dad under the rug or anything like that, right? I still love my dad much. If anyone did anything to my family, I'd be pissed. Like I'll fight for my family like till I die. But it's just a very interesting experience. I don't mind sharing it. I don't think my dad knows that I'm sharing it, but I mean it is experiences. And he doesn't like that side of him. Yeah, he doesn't like that side of him at all. Like my mom tells him all the time, like, don't ever show your anger like that. That's not why I married you, and that's the one thing you promised me you'd fix, right? So it was just
That's
that
not
side.
why I married you. Yo, ladies, take note. If you want to gut your husband in the heart,
Yeah,
she knows how to hit it. So
6 words.
yeah,
6 words. That's not why I married
6
you.
words.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you,
Ooh,
Steven? Then
sweaty.
Steven, what about you? What about you?
Wow. I'm still shook from your story, but I don't know. For me, I think honestly, I would have to say it's been such a blessing that I've never had to go through anything you guys have gone
Hey,
through.
that's good.
Um,
That's a great
So
blessing.
first of all,
Shout
I
out.
wouldn't say it's something we had to go through. It's not
Oh, no,
like
it's
Oh,
go
that's
through.
totally something we had to go through. What do you mean?
go
What do you mean? What else would you describe that?
My experiences were for me it was a blessing because I think I've never experienced what you guys like experience, right?
Yeah.
So as I said earlier, my parents are very relaxed and they're very chill and they're not very typical Asian parents. So they've actually never hit me.
Mhm.
They've definitely been mad at me or like disappointed in me, and they show it in different ways. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if it's actually scarier for some people, but for me, what they did was so I'm the type of person that I think I'm the type of person, like going back on the question of like, would you raise your kid the same way that I was raised? I think I would raise them relatively the same because I find this quality in myself as well, that's related to my parents in a way of where for me, how my parents disciplined me when I did something wrong or when I did something wrong was that they would kind of tell me what I did wrong, and then they would show it in a way where they're very like quiet about it.
Mm.
So they're more like disappointed than angry at me, right?
Mm.
So they would never hit me. They would never raise their voice or yell or like never go the route of kind of like being angry or like scary or intimidation kind of, but more so the root of like we're disappointed in you, or like you were wrong and we're very disappointed in you, but we hope you would change, right? We hope you
Mm.
would kind of fix yourself. And they would explain kind of where they're coming from in terms of why they think it was wrong, or like why they think I made that mistake, or like what the mistake was, or and kind of like why they think it's wrong, and then they would just kind of let it be,
Mm.
and kind of be there to just be like, oh, I'm disappointed in you, kind of thing. And I think that can be scarier for some people, for sure. I know when I was younger, it was definitely quite scary because they would just not talk with me. Like after I did something wrong, like they would tell me I'm wrong and then like explain to me why I'm wrong, and then they would just not talk to me and like kind of let me think on my own time. And
Mm.
then sometimes I would be like, oh, like how long are they not going to talk to me for? Like, what if they
Yeah,
never want to talk to me, kind of thing,
that's
right?
the one
But
thing I don't like about silent treatment.
yeah, the silent treatment for sure.
Yeah, I think between
Yeah,
like silent treatment or like cold shoulder versus like a smack,
yeah.
at least with the smack, you know when it's over, right?
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that
They
is
can't
that is a
That's
perspective. That is true. That is
that
they
definitely
can't hit you
true.
forever.
So
But
I agree with that. So that's the thing. Like they can't continuously hit you. So like once they hit you, kind of you'll like talk it through or not talk it through or whatever. But you know, like they've punished you for it already, right?
like
Whereas
you paid your
cold
dues, but
shoulder, it's like they just don't talk to me, and I'm like, are they ever gonna talk to me after I did that?
Yeah,
Like
that's
after
kind
I
of
made that
rough.
yeah,
mistake. So
I would,
it is different,
and
but
this is just me. I would
yeah.
rather have like a screaming match with my mom, at my age right now anyway. I'd rather have a screaming match that gets resolved than have nobody talk to
hmm
each other for several days.
Yes, I agree with
That's
that.
fair.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
feel like
like when
that.
my parents and I get into arguments, yeah, like it's hard for me
Mhm.
not to calm down. Like I'm a very
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
expressive person,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I get really hyped up. I get really passionate about what I'm talking about, and I get really
Mhm.
upset. But like
And
at
again,
least at the
yeah.
end of it, there's a resolution. There's whether that's a compromise or you come to an understanding of each side. Like it's at the end of the day, it's always communication, regardless of what relationship it is,
And
right?
not saying that either of them are ideal or not ideal. I'm not saying that like
Mhm.
Yeah,
we
for
should
sure.
elevate beating your kid, but like between the two, I again, this is coming from my child psychology
Mhm.
class. We didn't talk about spanking, but we did talk about what leads to anxious attachment or avoidant
Mhm.
attachment or just an insecure attachment in a person versus a secure attachment. And it was discussed a lot how either inconsistent parenting or very cold parenting. So, very passive, very uninterested, very cold
Yeah.
and collected. That led to a lot of either avoidant attachment issues or anxious attachment. Again, neither are ideal, but there is a way to raise your kid, discipline them that they still have security, right? Because like it's the relationship with your parents initially that gives you your first sense of security, right?
Yeah,
So we
for sure.
yeah, so something that I've seen a lot that I think is actually like it's really good is if it does come to requiring like a smack because the child's just not listening, or there's a warning ahead of time being like, hey, if you keep doing this, I will be smacking you on the bum. I keep doing it, and it's like, all right, here's your consequence, and or like laying out clearly what it is that you're going to do and why, right? And another
Yeah.
thing that because then like for me anyway, the way that I kind of see it, like again from a just this one course, I'm not a child psychologist by any means. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I feel like this would, because the kid knows what to expect, like the trust in that parent is
Mm.
still there. You know what I mean? So like if mom isn't explicitly saying, I'm going to spank you, you can trust that she's not going to, right? You can
Yeah.
trust that you
Right.
can still go to her for cuddles and
right.
whatnot. I don't know. That's something
Yeah.
that I think that's something I would like to carry into my own parenting one day, is like
Yeah.
whatever punishment I do, it's I don't spring it on them,
Yeah.
or if I am upset, I like actually tell them that I'm upset and not stew in it
Yeah.
and then let
Oh,
it explode later.
in Korean, oh, if any Koreans watching this right now, you guys know exactly. It's not even springing, it's like a warning. Like you do something wrong at church or something, and then like, your parents can't be all mad at church, so they're all happy, and then they come up and whisper to your ear, like they start coming up to you and they whisper to your ear, like, I'll see you at home.
Oh,
We'll see what
no.
happens at home. And then like
Oh, no.
now you're just freaked out as a kid and you're like shaking and your mom's all being happy with her
I
friends
wanna
at
go
church.
home.
And when you go home, you a dead man. You a dead man. Like, but I will say,
Oh,
the most iconic lesson that I learned from my parents, that I'll always remember, and it's what makes me into one of the sides where like I like saving money, and I'm pretty good at managing my money.
Yeah.
Is this one lesson? So it was in elementary school in grade 3. So this was like 2001, like 2001. And so this is when Digimon was huge, right? And those Digi eggs, like the Digi
Oh,
egg
yeah,
things
yeah,
that you
yeah.
shake and then you grow up. It's like a Tamagotchi, right? But for Digimon. And I like all my friends had one. And I was like, oh, I wanna have one. Marketing works wonders. And so I'm like, Mom, I really want a Digi egg. And she goes, what the hell's a Digi egg? And she's like, you don't need it. I was like, but I want it. Like, I
Don't
want a
need it.
Digi egg. I want to
Yeah.
play with my friends. So a week goes by and I don't have a Digi egg. All my friends are like shaking their eggs and stuff. I'm like, can I shake your egg too? Like I want to
Shake
play.
your egg.
I want to play with my friends. And so I keep like petitioning to my mom, like I really want the Digi egg. Like I really
Can I
want the
shake
Digi
your
egg.
egg?
And so she like sits down with me and says, I'll get you your Digi egg. However, you have to throw it out at the end of the week. And so I said,
That's rough.
yes, give me the Digi egg. Give me the Digi egg. Give me the Digi egg. So I got the
Yeah.
Digi egg. And so for a whole week, I'm like, I play with my friends. We got to do like Digimon stuff, connect, whatever, make friends, blah, blah, blah. It was great. And then the end of the week came. And the condition was, once again, throw out the Digi egg
But
at the end of the
why?
week. And so she tells me, it's been a week, bring it over, right? And so I bring it over.
Chess,
And she
yes.
opens the garbage can and she hands me the digi-egg
Oh
says-
no.
and tells me to hold it on top of the garbage can and says, throw it out. So it's me. I have to throw it out.
Thomas'
Wait,
parents are
wait,
just
I'm
punishing
just-
himself, making him punish himself.
I'm just a little confused. Why
So,
was that
yeah.
a condition of?
So I'll explain that. So her idea of that was throw it out, and so at the end, it took me like a good 2 minutes. Drop it, I throw it out, close it, and it was gone, right? And what that lesson was that's a want, not a need. And in 2 weeks later, you're gonna forget about it. And I did. I never thought about the digi-egg much afterwards. Like my friends would be like, "Oh, what happened to your digi-egg? Where'd it go?" I was like, "Oh, I lost it. Blah blah blah, whatever." Never brought up ever again. I didn't worry about it, right? And so that was her way of teaching me, like, that was her money, but it was her showing me
Interesting.
like that digi-egg was a want, not a need. If it was something you needed, I'd be happy to get that for you. If it's something you want but you don't need it, you should think about it twice, right? And then once you do throw it out, you'll realize you really didn't need it, right? And you won't even think about it twice like a month later. And then she tells me like a month later, like, do you miss it? No, not really, right? So that was the way she taught me how to be like smart about needs and wants, right? It did, however, cause me to kind of be a little too frugal sometimes. So I've learned to treat myself at times. Like now that I'm a working person, like I can treat myself to something within my budget. Like that's okay.
Yeah.
So I've taught myself that. But it did teach me a good lesson between needs and wants. That was the whole point.
True.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty intense.
Because
Yeah.
of time. Oh,
Our
actually,
parents are
yeah.
here.
Hey, I'm down to keep going. I'm down to keep
That's
going.
true.
Tommy's parents are.
Yeah, our parents are like down here. Tommy's parents are just like up here somewhere. Crazy.
Sorry, Steve. You wanted to move on to the next topic?
No. Yeah, unless you guys have any burning other thoughts about family.
About parenting? No.
Parenting, family?
I think no. I think at the end of my students, I don't know if my students that are watching are going to find this a little weird, but like when I talk about my students, I don't say my students, I say my kids, right? Because to me,
Your
they're
babies.
kids. Right? I don't call them
Right.
babies. Okay, no, they're not babies. Rose, I know you're watching this, and I think Steven's watching this too. You guys aren't babies. You guys are my kids, though. Like, you guys aren't
Isn't it?
adults.
Hold
Let's
up,
be
hold up.
real.
I do have
However,
questions.
yeah. However, I do hope that I'm not just a teacher that just teaches you math or something like that. Like, I want to be a person that can teach some life lessons that go on, right? So, like, as long as a student learns a life lesson to me, that's a big plus, right? Like, so that one story that I said I'll share now, so that we transition into.
Yes.
There's a
yeah,
fine line between teaching and friendship. There's a very distinct line. And it's I don't know if you guys have realized, like, a lot of big streamers now are talking about parasocial relationships, right? And
Yes.
that shouldn't be, like, you don't want the streamer is not your friend. Like, you can care about a streamer, sure, right? But you shouldn't care more about the things they do than they do themselves. That makes no sense, right? Like, oh, their dog died, and then you're crying, you're bawling your eyes out, and you're like, oh, this person is so sad. You speak on behalf of someone. Like, that's not okay, right? Same thing as a teacher. Like, you shouldn't be like, there should be a fine line between, hey, I'm a teacher, but I'm not your friend, but I can like get close to you. We have things in common, but you have to realize I'm not your friend. And then the way I draw my line is like, if you do something wrong, I'm going to be angry. I'm not going to be happy about anything you do. So there was one student that basically this was like the start of COVID, right? So this was around April last year. I think it was March. And then he was using a pencil. Everyone was like doing their work during the free time, and then the kid all of a sudden gets up, goes to the back of the classroom, and throws out the pencil. So I'm going, what the hell? Why are you throwing out a pencil? And so I ask him in front of the whole class, hey, why did you throw out the pencil? And he's like, oh, it was from China, so it might have coronavirus, so I threw it out.
Whoa.
I had to
Dang.
stop right there. I said,
Yikes.
you did not just say that. Right?
That's a big
And he
yikes.
doubled down on his point. Hey, it was from China. You never know. It could have COVID, right? And I'm like, I don't care if that's a
COVID has
joke.
COVID.
That's not okay. Because it was at this point, right? It was at this point where like Asians were getting attacked in the States right?
Mhm.
For being Chinese and being the Chinese virus and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
half my class is Asian. Like it was half Filipino and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And so I couldn't sit there doing nothing. And so, but I got a little too passionate. I blew up. I like started yelling at the kid. I'm like, there's no way you pick up that pencil right now from the garbage can and you're using it
Mm.
again, right? Like, there's no way you're throwing out that pencil and what you said was wrong and that's not
Yeah.
okay. And I went on this whole spiel. And obviously, the number one rule in teaching technically is don't yell at a kid in front of the whole class because it's embarrassing as hell, which is true.
Yeah.
And I did it, but I did it. And so, but the difference though, at the end of the day, is that at the end of class, I said, "Hey, let me talk to you." And I talked to him. I said, "Hey, this is why I yelled at you. What you did was not okay, and you had a joke in mind. That joke didn't hit. It was not appropriate, so on and so forth." And then at the end of it, I would say, "I'm sorry for yelling at you. I
Yeah.
apologize. That was not okay of me, and same for you, right?" And so
Mhm.
there's this explanation, right, of why I got angry. Always the why has to be there, but also acknowledging that they were wrong too. So there's an agreement on both fronts now, right? And then are we cool? We're cool, right? And so like I've had multiple situations. I've had a kid run out of my class because I was like what's it? This one student, she got really pissed. Like she was listening to her earphones, and then she didn't listen to what I was saying. I was doing my whole lesson. She didn't pay attention, and then she's like, "Oh, could you explain that to me again? Could you write it again?" I'm like, "Do you want to pay attention to my class?" And she got pissed. She got pissed. She picked up all the stuff. She left the classroom. Right.
Mhm.
Next day, she walks into my class and she goes, she's like dead silent, face down, whatever it is. Walks into my class and I look at her and I didn't even need to hear an apology. All I said was, "Hey, we cool?" And she goes, "Yeah, we cool." We shook hands and that was it. Because what more? The kid already knew she was wrong, right? Like, kids aren't dumb, right? Teenagers aren't dumb. They know when
Yeah.
they're wrong. They just hate to admit that they're wrong, right? So if you acknowledge that, you don't have to do it again, right?
For
So
sure.
these are those new perspectives that I gave. I would have never, if I was not a teacher, I would have not learned any of this thing. Like, I've learned so much from teaching that has been like really like mind blowing to me to learn. But yeah, so students watching, I'm not your friend, and I hope you know that.
I'm not your friend. Quotes from Tommy. Students, I'm not your friend.
Yeah, that's my final point. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next topic or the next segment, which is friendships. So in terms of friendships, we're gonna talk. The first question we're gonna go to is, how close are you with friends? Do you tell your friends everything, or like, do you have friends that you tell everything, or what kind of level, I guess, of commitment, or not commitment, like what kind of level of, I guess, things, secrets, or whatever that you talk with, do you tell your friends?
Straight up, I
Yeah.
tell my friends everything. Every garbage thought I have, every whatever, all out into a text to a friend, and
Yeah.
yeah, they know. Yeah, I
Even like, what if it's like an acquaintance?
oh heck no, 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 no. You
No,
have
right?
to
It
we
has
have
to be
to
like a friendship
be a
level.
It has to be a
certain level.
friendship level.
I find that with girls, we could be like more. We don't have to be as close for me to kind of spill my guts, but
Okay.
in general,
Right.
if we're tight, like I will update you on my life, and I hope you do the same. Like yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair. I think for guys, I think it's relatively the same. What's your bro? Your bro, and unless you break like that code, that friendship,
O
then
code.
like we'll share what we can. Like I
Mhm.
for me though, I'm the kind of like I've already like blown minds of chat and you guys here with my stories. Like I'm pretty open. I'm okay with
Yeah,
sharing it
yeah, for
because
sure.
at the end of the day, those stories aren't like they're traumatic to me when I was younger. They don't
Yeah,
affect me as much now. I've gone over it, so I'm okay with sharing that kind of stuff.
yeah,
And it's not to put like my parents or anyone else in a bad light, because it's a life lesson. Everything's a life lesson. But
yeah.
regardless of that, I'm pretty open to almost everybody. Acquaintances, I'm open to a certain point. Like I don't really hide stuff. I don't like being like keeping secrets too much. I like being transparent in everything I do.
Mm.
Like what I say and what I do is what you get, and that's all me. So if you don't like me,
Yeah.
then you can get out of my life, kind of idea. So if you like me, then you're cool. You could stay. So that's usually my level. What about you, Steven?
Yeah, I think I'm generally pretty open with actually I'm like a little bit different. So I'm very open generally with people that I know well, or that I consider close friends. So if I consider you a close friend, whether you consider me a close friend is not the thing, but if I consider you a close friend, I'm more than happy and I'm more than willing to share with you my thoughts and my struggles and stuff like that. But I think for me, like I'm also very like even though I'm very extroverted and I love like people and having people to talk to and stuff like that. I think I'm also a very kind of closed person in terms of reaching that point of friendship where I'm willing to open up about myself. Yeah, like I do enjoy meeting new people and kind of chatting with them, but I think overall in general, if I don't feel comfortable with you, then the chats that I have with you or the hangout that are with you are a very kind of casual level. It's just like playing games, hang out, saying hi, very casual conversations, where the things that are deeper or like my struggles and stuff, I tend to keep to myself, unless you're like a really close friend, then I would share with you deeper things, right?
So that leads to another question that Ashley and I have together. Are we
Mm-hmm.
close friends, Steven? are we close friends,
I don't
Steven?
know. You tell me. Have I told you enough things that you think we're close friends?
Yeah. I think Steven puts it really well. In chat. So when you break our trust after sharing stuff with you, there will be a distinct gap in our friendship or acquaintanceship, and we'll never fix that gap. And I guess that's the difference between guys and girls. That is true. But the other weird thing about guys that girls don't understand is that for girls, correct me if I'm wrong, because this is my observations. Is I'll say is that their friendships can be very volatile, especially during an argument. The moment there's a huge disagreement, that friendship is over. Like it could
With
end.
bros?
No, with girls. With girls. Like sometimes there's a really touchy subject and there's a huge disagreement, it could end. Like it could be really bad and it could split. I don't know. That was an observation for me. But for guys, well, guys, we're weird. If, for example,
Oh,
Steven and
yeah.
if Steven and I were pissed off and we got into a fist fight, the next day we're best friends. Like, it's weird. Guys are weird. I've had that happen before. Like me and this other guy, no longer a friend, but back in high school, we got into a fight. I punched him in
Yeah.
the back, right? And like we
Yeah.
got we got upset at each other, and then we made up in the principal's office or in front of the principal's office before we got suspended. All good. Didn't get suspended. We were good friends after that. Like it was weird.
Yeah.
It's guys are weird.
I mean, I think the saying with that is like obviously this isn't the case for everyone, but I think the saying is that like girls hold grudges a bit longer than guys in terms of like yeah, when they get in a fight, they just kind of are more serious about it and they hold that grudge a bit longer, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've seen guys that hold grudges though, and I hate those
Oh
guys
yeah, for
so
sure.
much.
Like I'm
I
not
hate them
saying that
so
like
much.
there's definitely like cases where like the opposite sex has done the opposite of what we just said, but I think
Yeah.
overall in general, yeah, I don't know what Ashley's experience with this is.
Yeah, I think the big thing is just once again, if
I
we're
think guys
friends
hate each
until
other
you
when
when girls are involved, yeah, that is true. There's a bro
uh,
code behind how guys are to deal with girls, and if you break that code, there's a fight.
oh, that's
Like you're
game
asking
over.
for a fight,
Yeah, asking for a fist fight.
asking for a fist fight. Like Ashley's like, yup, yeah, no, 100%. There's a lot. Like I remember a friend. I think he was held at gunpoint almost because he messed with another girl's thing. Like
Yikes.
it was a like he didn't take
That's
advice, and we said, and someone else said, hey, you shouldn't get with that girl, it's not a good
that's a
idea,
big
and he said,
yikes.
screw you, I'm gonna get with the girl, she's kind of cute. And then he got held at gunpoint, and then he called
That's
me
a big
saying, yo
yikes.
man, can I hide at your place? And I'm like, you kind of can't right now, sorry bro.
Sorry, bro. You can't.
Yeah, I don't want to be short
Unfortunately.
either. You know, that's kind of we did warn you. We warned
Yeah,
you.
like
Oh, we
it's
would.
You still did it. Like,
oh man, yeah, I gunpoint. Like I don't know if I want to put my parents in that kind of
Yeah.
situation, So there was a
Yeah.
there was a
I
little bit
mean,
of a
I think I
disconnect there.
agree with Janie. She says it's also being honest with those you're having to blow up with, maybe letting them know you need to cool down and letting them cool down. Yeah, I think I totally agree with that in terms of having a period of time where like you're able to cool down, um, whether that's like a day or like longer or whatever. I think it's good to, especially after like when you have a fight with someone, being able to kind of just yeah have that cool down period where you're just thinking and just kind of reflecting on that situation.
Yeah, for sure. Lost the best bud because of a girl once. Yep, I've had that happen
Oh,
too. I've had that
yeah.
happen to myself as well.
Yes.
We got into an argument because of this girl. He wouldn't let go, even though we said even though she was not okay with it, and I was not okay with it. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
That story, or that whole ideal. Not sorry. That whole situation was just, it's just gross, man. Guys don't think with here. They don't think here when it comes to girls. It just never happens. Logic is out the window. Gentlemen, you got to agree with
interesting.
me on that. We don't
Interesting.
think with here.
I'm just gonna mentally note that down. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Good to know, good to know.
There's a
Yeah. Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Where do they think, Tommy? I think everyone knows the second part of that statement, so I'm not going to say it because it's not appropriate on our stream. But you can think about it. Guys don't
Actually,
think up
don't go
here.
around causing trouble. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just thinking of my own experiences with friendships, and I guess yeah. I don't know. I've never been a dude, so I can't really compare how long. I don't know. In my experience, like okay. I guess okay. I have had some female friendships that there was an issue that kind of never really got fully resolved, and we're still no longer friends to this day. So I guess I see
Yeah.
your point.
I think it also depends on how people resolve issues. Um, Going back a little bit to like the parent section of like, do they resolve issues with like, as you said earlier, like a cold shoulder, right? Or are they the type of person to resolve an issue with fighting, or are they the type of person to resolve an issue by just not the silent treatment? I think it depends on that as well. Depending on the situation and depending on kind of how they resolve, or like how the two people in conflict resolves the issue, it can go on forever and they can just like completely cut off that friendship, or it can just like be like most guys in a case where like, oh, like we fight, we yell at each other, everything's like we say sorry kind of like the next day and everything's cool again, right?
Yeah. I think a big thing too, with like friendships is that, um, for me, the closest friends will always call me out, right? I
Mm,
think that's what this distinguishes like a friend versus a close friend. Like a friend,
Yeah.
I don't mind. Like, oh, like I'm so sorry to hear what you're going through or whatever it is. But the real friend, like the close friend, will be like, you messed up. Like you effed up hard, and
You dung boo.
you
Yeah.
are
mhm.
dumb and you are stupid, or like you shouldn't have done that and you
You
know it.
suck. You're
Like,
garbage.
why would you do
You're
that?
trash.
Like, I think those
Yeah.
are the friends. Like, and I can't argue with that, right? I know Sarah has done that for me, right? She's called me out before on things that I do. I know I have like friends in chat. I know Jillian's watching, so Jillian has done that for me as well. Like, and I know like Seth has done that for me. Like a bunch of my friends have done that for me, where like they straight up say, "Hey, that's not okay. What you did was not okay."
Yeah,
And
for
like
sure.
like sure, it's okay to feel that way, but you have to understand that you were in the wrong or whatever it is. They'll always be the one to point that out, and that's how I know they're like a close friend of mine that actually cares about who I become after this situation, not just what I'm going through, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's the big takeaway.
Yeah, for sure. Great. All right. Any more thoughts about this question before we move on?
Well, hold up.
Oh,
There's some. You skipped a bunch of questions here, my dude.
well, I'm not going to go through all the questions.
Oh, I think they're kind of fun.
What question do you want to talk about?
You know, there's
that-
what qualities do you
that I
value the most in
skipped?
friendships? How close are you
We'll
with your
go back to that
friends?
question.
Or transitional Q. Is it okay for guys and girls to be best friends?
Oh,
Is that okay?
that's a big question right
That's a
there.
spicy question.
Yeah, I didn't skip those. I'm not even there yet. Hello.
Go on.
You want a natural segue to the next part? I
Yeah.
can give you a natural segue.
Sure. Let's segue into the next part. Tommy, what's your natural segue into that question?
Okay. So my natural segue, it's not to the question, but it'll be to the topic.
Oh,
So basically, we're talking about friendships and stuff like that, and like if you're honest with people, like you, the closest friends will know who you are, why you do things, and the things you've been through to make you who you are today. Right? They'll slowly get that information, and they know you better than anyone else. That's why it's a close friend.
Mhm.
That's exactly what I had to do, or I felt like I had to do that before I got together with my girlfriend. So Allison and I, when we were about to make it official, we literally took a date and said, lay down every piece of baggage we have so that we don't have anything to hide once we're together. So we sat down for 3 hours sharing each other's baggages inside a bubble tea shop to make sure that we were real, like we were dead set
Dang.
on this
Okay.
relationship. So like her and I have nothing to hide now. We know exactly what we
Mhm.
like, what we need to each other. We trusted each other enough to share that on that date,
Yeah.
and then it was like, okay, she trusts me. We can be vulnerable with each other, and then we can move on, right? So I think there's that big step, especially with like relationships. It's like people always say like, oh, my girlfriend is my best friend or my wife is my best friend kind of idea, right? I think it's definitely true. Like if you've communicated or talked to this person enough, right? Then you'll definitely like hit that point where you're like, oh yes, my significant other is my best friend, right?
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's some things in chat that I kind of do want to address.
Go for it.
Alley-oop here says, yes, it's okay for guys and girls to be biffles or best friends. Do you guys agree and disagree? And I really like Isaac's question. Epic fish. I really like
Foley just called
Internet
it.
strangers
Called his
question.
name.
Ashley,
Foley just called out his name. No
We'll edit
problem.
it out of the VOD. It's fine.
Edit it out of the VOD. Exposed.
Okay, hold
Right.
up.
I'm sorry.
I
Sorry.
apologize.
His name is Isaac.
Not his government name.
Oh,
It's-
this is-
anyway.
Anyways.
He
Big F.
very dear to my heart. Is there a friend who you are especially grateful for? I think both of those questions, I think I would like to talk about them because I have a different opinion from Alley-oop. Or
Oh,
I don't
really? Okay.
I don't think, okay, guys and girls, if you guys are best friends, you know what? That's you. Do you. But for me personally, and again, this is purely just speaking on behalf of myself, I cannot name a single time where I have been best friends with a dude and not fallen head over heels in love with this guy. And so for me personally, I don't think it's a good idea for me. And
So
I also know
yeah, okay. Yeah.
for many girls, and I'm not saying all of them, right?
Yeah.
For many girls, this do be a case where we may not fall in love with you, but it will go through our minds at some point, like, what if we no, but what if, and that will go through our minds at some point.
Yeah.
So
I guess so. Like my side of it is, I agree with you on half of that, which is I 100% agree. Where guys and girls, after at a certain point, will find some form of affection for each other, whether they like it or not. That is true. If you've talked to a girl or you get close enough with a girl where you're friends, 100% that will develop, even if it's a little bit. Doesn't matter if it's a little bit. Everyone has to agree, because this is true, that you will
that
develop feelings for the other
you
person.
will,
However,
full-blown feelings, like an interest. You will develop an interest. This is
yeah.
inevitable.
But I think the big part that I disagree on is there hits a point where if you get rejected or whatever it is, and that is actually like over those feelings, and it like Aliup is saying, like, it just doesn't work out, then you can actually be best friends, because those feelings actually don't come back once you've settled it, once there's closure. So like for myself, I have two best friends. One is female, one is male. Allison knows this, by the way. So, for those that know Allison, she knows this. I have a best friend in BC, and I have a best friend in LA. Okay, so she knows. So the friend in BC was a girl that I used to like in grade 12, right? But her and I could share a lot about our stuff, and we found like kind of like our connection through, of course, like spiritual talk and stuff like that, right? And we just kind of connected, and we just kind of found comfort in sharing our lives with each other. And it's not like we were ever going to get together. She was in British Columbia, I'm in Ontario, and we weren't going to do long distance. So at the end, it doesn't work out. But now that she's definitely a best friend to me, because if I talk to her again after a long period of time, it's like as if like we can always talk like we were always friends, right? And that's what makes a best friend. Like, it doesn't matter how far apart you are, how long you haven't talked, you can always talk, right? Like as if nothing ever happened, like it was yesterday. So that's a person that I consider a best friend. And that, so it has to hit a point where I feel like you develop feelings, get over those feelings, and have it not like get over it, find closure. You'll never have those feelings again, and then you hit that point of we can be best friends because nothing else will hinder us, kind of idea. That kind of idea. So that's my perspective on it. And Aliup agrees with me. You see that? I know you're reading chat right now, Ashley. I see you.
I'm just gonna go off and start censoring some. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's a really interesting. That's a really interesting take. Yeah, because I guess I do have a male best friend that we had a crush on him back in high school. Never became anything, and I no longer have those feelings. That's true. But that doesn't stop me from questioning sometimes, or wondering. I know it's never going to go down that path, but what would have happened if we did? I don't know.
Okay, yeah, of course. There's always going to be what ifs, right? I think it's healthy to have what ifs, right? But it's not healthy to dwell on those what ifs.
I don't disagree heavily with you, Aliup. It's not. I agree with you that it's not as black and white. I just know it's icky. Not icky. It's risky for me.
I will agree. It is risky. You definitely throw in some risk there when you do it.
Yeah,
for sure. Steven, then, who is your best friend now, or who is your most iconic friend that you? I think the question was
Who is a
who is
friend
a
that you
friend
most appreciate?
that most appreciate, you're grateful for, most grateful for,
Yeah.
and why?
And why?
It better be like a 10-page essay because that friend is listening.
Oh no. Yeah, I think I definitely have a lot of friends that I'm grateful for. And obviously I can't name all of them because there are quite a few friends that I'm very thankful for that are in my life. But someone that comes to mind instantly is, I think, one of my best friends. She is someone who I grew up with, and she is the person that actually brought me to Christ,
Hmm.
which is also very interesting. So, the yes, the same person. Her name is Luna. I don't know if she's, I don't think she's watching, but her name is Luna. Yeah, so like it's interesting because I met her kind of in China when I was younger, like as like during my childhood, right? And we were friendship, or we were like childhood friends. And like we grew up together, we did a lot of things together, and she actually came to Canada. She moved to Canada before our family did. And then when we moved here, she, like, her family was the kind of like family that connected us with a lot of people here and stuff like that. And I think
Oh.
overall, like, we've just had a great friendship. And I'm really thankful and grateful that I was able to, or that I'm able to have that friendship with her. Um, yeah, in that like in over the course of like my 20 something years. Yeah.
Shout outs to Luna. Luna, if you're listening, wherever you are, shout
Yeah.
outs to you, man.
Shout outs to
Shout outs
you.
to you. What about you, Ashley? Friend that you're most grateful for, and why is it alley
Better be, yeah.
alley I got you, bro. I got you.
I'm dead. Why is it Ali? Oh my god. Someone clip that. I'm clipping it right now. I am clipping that right now. Oh, that was great. That was
Oh,
great.
It's getting warm.
She clearly not grateful for me. Oh,
oh,
Whoa.
it's getting
bro.
warm in
I mean,
here.
I am grateful for Alley-oop. I think we've been through quite a bit together, and I am quite grateful for how, I don't know, for where we've ended up, I guess. Yeah. So I guess Alley-oop would be one. Um yeah. I don't know. Were you expecting me to like, okay. Oh, the friend I was gonna say,
Hmm.
and I'll talk about Alley-oop in a bit, but like the friend I was gonna say is the love of my life, my sister. I know it's like it could
Okay.
be, I know that like could be like a cliche, but like I think the one person, if like, I don't believe in soulmates. I don't believe in soulmates, but if I did, if I believed in the one, if I believed in soulmates, my sister would be my soulmate. There is something about our connection that no other relationship in my life
Mhm.
comes close
Well, yeah, you were
to,
born together, you know?
because we were born together.
Yeah,
But
you were born
no,
together.
but I think
True.
but the thing is though, I've seen many twins who were born together, even identical twins who don't have
Yeah, for
the
sure.
That's
bond that
true.
we
That is
do.
correct.
For sure, for
You
sure.
know, and so when I say like she's the love of my life, like she, like, you know, she's my number one cheerleader. She um um like she she knows every single ugly, you know, part of me. She, like, she was there through all of it, right? She's seen like all the sus things that I've done and all, you know, and she's like my favorite person. I don't know how to, yeah, she's like the like if she were like, I can't like, I again, I think I'm a very independent person and that I try not to like depend on anybody. But if but Mel is actually somebody that I need in my life. Like if I didn't
There you
have
go.
Mel, I wouldn't
Shout outs to
I wouldn't, you
Mel.
know. She's like she's my soulmate.
Yeah.
If
Shout
we want to
outs
talk
to
about,
Mel.
yeah, shout outs to Mel. And yet she's not even watching this Twitch stream right
Oh,
now.
I don't
So,
know. I think you got to deduct some points there. You
so we gotta,
You said
know,
she was your
yeah.
cheerleader. She's not even here.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Your statement just started to break down there.
you know,
Breaking down.
Aliu's here
What
and Mel
happened?
is not. Like, I just
Yeah,
anyway.
clearly
Okay,
Alley should be a little bit
here's
higher on
the
the list
thing.
now.
So Ashley said Mel is her, like, someone she's grateful for, but
Uh-huh.
and like her best friend. But does Mel think the same way? That's the
Okay,
the
but
issue.
here's what makes our bond so amazing.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
Uh-huh.
like, so she's been through many friends, and she's been with the person that she's with now for like half a decade now. They
Oh, dang.
met when they met when she was 18. They're probably gonna get married. Like
Ooh.
he's like her first, last, and only type of thing. And
First, last,
even
and-
though
Oh.
she has spent like all this time and she's loved him for so long, right? I know for a fact that what she and her current man have, like, it's just not the same
Yeah, for sure.
as the
It's
bond
definitely
that we
different.
have. And sure, it could be
Huh.
the fact that we're twins, but like more than that, like it's I don't believe in cliches, but like it's like we are a part of each other. It's weird. It's weird.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I know. I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're
We
saying.
share one brain cell. That
Okay.
we,
Let's not go too far here.
But says no, nah.
I got you, and then I didn't get you. Like
yeah.
there was a point where you said brain cell, and I was like, wait, hold on a second. I feel like we're talking about two different things.
he was like, all right, I'm gonna stop dancing to this. Yeah. But
No,
I do
that's
want
really
to.
cool.
Yeah.
I do want to give a shout out to Aliup though. I think he's a solid dude. And yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the
Alley-oop
kind of
is,
connection.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the
He's a
kind of
solid
connection I
dude.
want for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of
Yeah.
connection I want for my kids. If I ever have like two children or siblings, or
And if
like I
punish
want them to grow up like that. Okay.
if you- solidarity there. I'm just kidding.
Solidarity and punishment. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that was a great transition into our third topic, which is romantic relationships. So, yeah, we're just going to dive right in and start with the first question. I don't remember who asked this. Someone asked me this the other day, but is it okay to date around? Okay, let me
Yes.
explain. So, like not date around like multiple people at once, that kind of date around, but like date around as in like, is it okay to have multiple relationships in your lifetime? Like,
Oh,
is
100%.
it like is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Does it not matter? Is there like kind of, yeah, like, is it okay to have more dating experience kind of thing?
Yes, 100% yes.
Yeah.
I think even in both statements that you said,
Yeah.
it is so with the current dating environment, especially
Yeah.
with all this online dating that's been going on for the past couple of years, right? There's a different dynamic, and I think the difference between going on dates versus we are dating, there's a distinct difference, right? So
Yeah.
going on dates with multiple girls at the same time is actually okay, assuming that you're not exclusive with someone else. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
like if, for example, I'm on Hinge, which is where I met my girlfriend, right? I don't like I am allowed to talk to multiple girls on Hinge if we match. There's nothing wrong with that. I can go on dates
Yeah.
with 3 girls on different days in the week if I for some reason had that, which I never did. I'm just saying as a hypothetical situation. But that is okay because like
Sponsored by
because I'm not
Hinge.
exclusive with anyone. I'm still
Of
trying to
course.
figure out who's a better match for me. And I think that's okay, which
Yeah,
leads
for
into the
sure.
second part too, where if you
Yes.
date more people, you get more
Hinge
experience.
like a forward door.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you get more experience in doing so, right? You get more experience with, how do you go on dates or different things about relationships and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like I can say for a fact, I learned a lot from my first ever relationship that has shaped how I take relationships from that point on. Like it really, really helps to have that experience.
Yeah, to add on to that, I think there was a time where I thought, oh, if you dated around or if you have like a lot of, how you have a lot of relationships in your history, I thought that meant, you know, your heart was damaged or, less capable of loving someone else. And then, but then I learned that like no, just because you've and I'm speaking for myself, right? Like I've fallen in love many times and I know we're talking about like casual dating right now, but I mean like
Yeah.
when it comes to like this idea of like having or talking to multiple people, like it doesn't make me less capable of committing totally to this one person or like loving them with everything that I have, right? Like I learned very recently that like my heart is not this finite resource where like if I've already given it to one person or if I've already given it to another and then I have had to take it back a couple times, like it means like I have less to give to the next person. Like no, it doesn't work that way. So
Right.
I think in terms of like talking to multiple people, I don't know if I don't know if I would immediately jump on the train that that's okay or not, but I just
Yeah.
know for myself personally, I don't have the time. Like I don't have that kind of I was like talking to a buddy of mine yesterday about it and was like, want to tell I just don't want to have the same what kind of music do you like or what kind of movie what's your favorite movie, conversation over and over again with like,
Yeah.
a week.
Yeah.
So just, you know, in terms of convenience, I wouldn't. But
Yeah.
like and I think with like, to add on to like the girl best friend and guy best friend thing too, I think a fear that I had and kind of I guess still have is that if my significant other has a female best friend, it like she like occupies a part of his heart that won't, or like she takes up a space of him that I don't get. And that's actually not true. The human heart doesn't actually work that way, I realize. So maybe it is okay to be best friends with a girl or a guy. It's
we've circled back. We circled back.
We circle back to this question.
still risky, but
Mm.
upon thinking about it, it could be done. It's
Yeah.
not.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Epic's Fish in chat has asked, is bowling a good date or not?
What
Oh
do
my.
you think about that, Steven? What do you think about that?
Or what are some fun date ideas? Um, I mean, I think bowling's a great date. Like I love bowl. Yeah, like I think it's like I would agree more with Sarah. Sarangi though. She says, I think it depends on if that person likes bowling. So obviously, I think I'd agree with that. Like if you know they hate bowling, or like if they don't find it fun, or they don't like they're not very like excited about going bowling, then I don't think it would be a good date just because if they're not having fun, then I think that's also something that would be hindering the date. But yeah, I think if they find it okay and if they find it enjoyable, or even if like they don't know and they just want to try it out, I think yeah, like bowling's a great date. You guys can chat and have fun. I
I'm on the
mean,
side that bowling is a great date, whether or not they like it. Believe it or not. Oh,
okay.
so the reason why I say that is
Yeah.
because I have taken girls out on bowling dates many times, but
True, true.
but the
See
thing
that.
is,
Dang.
I think it the difference is because like on a one-on-one bowling date, the
Yeah.
fun part is that you get to play with the other person. But not only that, if you're bad, then you can be bad. Like if you're both bad, you can be both bad together. But if
Yeah.
one person's good and the other's bad, the other person teaches, and it's just like you can hype each other up. Like it shows you your fun
That's
side.
fair.
The way, because bowling as itself, if you're watching it, is boring as hell. You're literally watching
That's fair.
a ball hit solid objects. That's essentially what you're doing. But if you can make it fun, right? And like hype up and just have fun. And if you miss, you make a fun deal out of it, right? I personally really enjoy that. But another fun date idea that I really enjoy is also taking someone to the arcade, whether they like games or not. Because there are games at the arcade where you can play like you can
Yeah.
play games that don't require like gaming finesse, if I want to put it that way.
That's true.
You can just have fun with it, right? And just kind of go around, play games like your date wants to play games that you want to play. If you're good at games, you can show off here and there, flex a little bit for your date. You know what I'm saying? You know
I'm an arcade like addict. So
can I just share a psychological tip for first dates out there, backed by science? They actually did studies on this. Okay. So, and again, it depends on the vibe. So say you've been talking to this person for a while, you want to take them out on a date, and you think, I think this person actually does like me, but I want to lock it down. I want to make sure that they do. What you should do, backed by science, evidence-based, is you should take them to something that will get their blood pressure up and pumping, that will really kick in that autonomic sympathetic nervous system that gets their heart racing. And the reason why I'll tell you is because the way the human brain works is if we are feeling, it's called physiological arousal, right?
Yeah.
If you are feeling aroused and you don't know why, your brain will look for a reason why, right? And so, and they did many studies on this. So if you're, you sound like a physiologically aroused, what they did was they had participants run a race. And at the end of the finish line, there'd either be a very attractive girl or a guy, because all the subjects were men, right? Or a guy, there with a bottle of water, right?
Yeah.
And they wanted to see what percentage of guys would ask the girl out or strike up a conversation.
Yeah.
And a significant, a vast majority of the dudes asked out this pretty girl. And when asked later, why did you ask her out after your race? They said, I saw her and my heart was beating really fast and I just thought she was really cute. And so what had happened was, they attributed their arousal to the girl, even though they knew it was from running. And what is also interesting about the human brain is we will attribute it to a person if we find them attractive, right? If we find them attractive, we'll attribute our heart racing because, they must have made my heart race. But also, even if we're aware of why our heart is racing, I just ran a race, we will underestimate the effect of the running and still attribute it to that person. But on the flip side, though, if you were originally, or if you currently are not attracted to this person and you feel arousal, you'll actually attribute that arousal to a dislike of that person. So it basically emphasizes what you were originally feeling. So if you're unsure if this date actually likes you, maybe you're thinking, maybe I don't know if they're just going out with me because they pity me or something, take them out on a really chill date that doesn't really require a lot of energy, maybe to the movies or a walk on the beach or whatever, until you get to a point where, okay, this person actually knows me and actually likes me, and then take them out to something exciting. But if you're I think we're really vibing, we're really clicking here, I want to see if that's actually the case, I want to make sure I'll lock that down, take them to Canada's Wonderland. I'm not even kidding you. It will I
don't know. I like Spicy Boy's idea, yo. Light 42-kilometer marathon run sounds like a great date idea. Gets your heart pumping, Get that pumping going. Both of you working out, good exercise, easy. She'll ask you out.
And, looking good, yo, maybe. All right.
Yeah, hundo P.
Yeah. So that's why for me, my idea of a first date is Canada's Wonderland. Is freaking Canada's Wonderland, because if I don't like you, I will know by the end of the date. But if I do like you, and if you like me, yo.
I love Canada's Wonderland.
Let's freaking link up.
Yeah. I love that place. That place is so good. I miss it.
It is.
Although I don't have enough energy for most of the rides anymore. I go there for 3 hours and I'm done, dude.
Really? Nah. Yeah. I go there for the whole day, bro.
I ride a roller coaster for 3 hours and then I go to the water park and it's the lazy river for the rest of the day.
Yeah, you feel lazy after 3-4 hours and I'm I can't. I'm done.
I'm the type of person that's I will ride every ride if possible. I will ride them twice if time allows me. I will stay until the security guard goes, "Sir, we're closed." So stop lining up for stuff. We're closed already.
I will say, I have gotten the fast pass wristband once.
I have to.
The best $100 I've ever spent.
Oh, fast pass? Yeah, of course. Yeah.
100%.
Okay, guys, everyone in chat, if you come to the Wonderland with me, this is saying that like Wonderland when Wonderland opens after COVID, obviously, guys, not right now. But if you come to Wonderland with me, I will buy you a fast pass just to come on rides with me. Like I'm willing to pay for a fast pass for a friend as well.
That's how
That's
it's
how
works
worth
for
it
Allison.
Is just
That's,
yo.
that's
You
how
heard it
worth
first.
it is.
Steve is just
Uh,
setting the bar up way here. You know, if
yeah,
he's
yeah,
not
yeah.
willing to pay for a fast pass, yo, why are we even going?
Oh yeah. If there's any girls in chat, if like there's
Yo,
a
he's
guy
single
who's
and
going out
ready
with
to
you,
mingle.
who's going out with you, and they're taking you
He's
to
like-
Wonderland. If they don't bring you a fast pass, then that's just no.
That's what I did for my girlfriend, and we're together now. You know what I'm saying?
This man's
See,
right
Tommy
here,
I did
Tommy
it.
knows.
single
Tommy
and ready to
knows.
mingle, and
Tommy knows.
full of monies. So, girls,
It'll be 2023
Hit 'em
the
up.
way to open. Yeah, it'll be a while before they open, but
Oh my gosh.
yo, but low key, like when I was there and I had my fast pass on, I had speakers. I was freaking blasting Kendrick on my way to the front of the line. Just
She almost made Steven spit
just
out
like-
water.
hey,
just like
fine,
walking
fine.
to the front and like in my
Yeah.
whole, in my whole privilege, just like it's
for all the
that's my
rides,
happy
yeah.
place. Anyway, sorry. What is the next question?
All right. Yeah, so the next question is on the first date, this is actually a really interesting one, but on the first date, is it okay to kiss?
Yes.
Okay.
Ashley's like, no.
No,
Ashley's
definitely
like,
not.
no. Yes.
Don't-
Absolutely.
Don't freaking touch me after the first date. I don't want to kiss.
Okay.
I don't want
Alright,
nothing.
alright.
I will like I'll go in for a side hug. I don't want a freaking kiss. No, thank you.
All right.
Mm-mm.
So
Unless-
all the guys, listen. So if you're gonna ask Ashley out on a date and she says yes to the date first of all, and after that date, don't kiss her. Otherwise, she's just gonna like murk you in the face.
No, if
Look,
you kiss me, I'm gonna be like, okay, we kissed. I'm probably not gonna call you after that. Like,
Oh,
okay, the only
dang.
exception is if we've
Yeah.
been friends for like a hot minute. Like, if
Okay.
we've been friends for
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a strong
Okay,
maybe.
look, I'm not
But
saying that you have to kiss on every first date. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
saying,
just
like,
saying it's okay to.
oh yeah, totally. But I'm just saying, guys, if you want to actually, I don't know, succeed in getting a girlfriend, don't kiss her on the first date.
What's wrong? What do you mean succeed?
I
I've
mean-
succeeded
I
with all my
mean-
first, like all my past girlfriends
saying-
that I've kissed them on the first date.
I'm saying, like,
Yo, Steven's an alpha, dude.
Nobody's
you a
nobody.
dog.
Nobody.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Nobody
fine.
heard
that.
Epic's Fish asking, what about a peck on the cheek?
I
What about
think a peck on the cheek. I think a peck
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
cheek is cute. But if you go and flick like
A full
tongue flying,
kiss?
yo,
Oh,
Okay,
Flying?
whoa. I never said tongue flying. That's not okay.
Yeah, I think it depends on like what we define as a kiss too, right? Like peck versus
Were you
tongue
thinking
flying.
like full on makeout or something? Actually, like
I know. I don't
Tongue
know. Every
flying.
romantic movie I've ever watched, it's like after the first date that they're like standing by the girl's door because he walks her home, and it's like a
oh
situation.
my, oh gosh.
No, that's
I'm so
that's a
sorry,
big
chat.
no. I'm so sorry. That's a big no.
Okay, look. I've only had it happen once to me, but
Okay.
it never like it was natural. Like so, it's not like I'm like I'm not like I'm not forcing myself upon them, right? But like if it's natural and it just the atmosphere is there and just happens, then yeah, like I think it's okay. Definitely not full on make out French kiss the girl, right? But like a soft either a peck on the lips or whatever it might be comfortable. I think that's okay. I think that's completely okay. Assuming that the girl you know for sure is going to go on a second date.
That's true.
If she's not going on a second date, why would you do it in the first place? You know what I mean? That's a big no-no.
You're right.
So it is what it is there. But yeah, I think it's completely okay. I mean, Steven says he's done it. I've done it
Okay, but
once,
can
I think.
Let me explain why though. Okay. You kiss on the first date, I feel like it sets an expectation. Also, Stefan Leaf, 12, great question. What are your red flags while dating someone?
Red flags. Are we jumping into that?
Sure. Yeah.
Red flags. Biggest one for me is unable to make a decision. For
Okay.
yourself. For yourself. Not even for us, for yourself. So remember how I said like arcade dates are great? It's another
Yeah.
great way to tell whether or not that person hits that red flag for me or not. So this one date that I went on, she was pretty chill. We had a good conversation. And then we go into the arcade, and of course I like the arcade, but I'm like, hey, is there anything you want to play? And she's like, no, I don't really come to the arcade much. Why don't you show me what games you like? And I was like, okay, sure. So we went around, I found some games that I thought she'd like, and I'm like, hey, is there any game that you want to play? Right? Is there anything that interests you that you want to play? Whatever it is,
Yeah.
nothing at all. She chooses nothing, and it was always me deciding every single thing for the next hour and a half on what we should do. And I'm going, okay. And then I said, hey, so after we finished at the arcade, this is around 5:30, right? This is around 5:30. And I say, hey, you want to go grab dinner? Right? Grab dinner, then I'll take you home. And she goes, no, I'm kind of tired. I just want to go home. So for me, I'm going, oh, I guess she didn't like today. Oh, I didn't like today much either. So I'll just take her home. So I drove her home. And then I said goodbye. I gave her the plushies that we won from whatever we won. I forgot. But I gave her the plushies and then gone. Done. End of story. She messaged me at night going, this is her message. Not verbatim, but her message was essentially on this note, which was, oh, today was really fun. I wish we got to talk longer. I hope to see you again. I'm going, what the fuck? Like, what? Did you just say? I hope, like, I'm sad we did. I asked you to dinner! What do you mean? I literally asked you to dinner and you said no, and you're complaining that we didn't get longer to talk? Hello? Like, it made no, like, that's the biggest red flag. I was like, no, you can't make any decisions for yourself right now. Like, everything you do is, like, I don't understand. It makes no sense to me. So I was like, nope, not happening. Not happening.
Your lead there says, why can't you talk to her while playing all the games?
Hey, man, if I'm focused on playing a game, I'm focused on playing a game. I play to win. And that's why I love Allison. That's because she understands that. Shout out to Allison.
True.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest red flag. Like, you have to make decisions for yourself. Like, I can't make all the decisions for you. I'm not your caregiver.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the big thing for me.
Okay. Steve,
Come
what
on.
about you?
I think one of my biggest red flags is also very similar to Tommy's. It's kind of not someone who doesn't have confident in themselves and their kind of what they believe in. So like if they choose to, it's not necessarily like they're they're not decisive or whatever, but it's more so of like if they have a thought about something or if they have like a view on a specific thing, and like if they're very iffy about a lot of things and they often change their mind, or they're not very confident in a lot of their values or like what they value, then I think that's a very big red flag for me, because like I would want someone who is very clear and kind of understand what their own values are, so that we can definitely talk and to see if those values are aligned with mine, and therefore be future potentials, right? Because that's also something I look a relationship of, like, are their values sort of aligned with mine? Like, they can be different, obviously, right? But some of the bigger values obviously have to be the same, I think, for me. And I think if someone who is not very confident in what their values are or what they believe in, and they keep changing and are very flimsy of what they kind of believe in or their choices and stuff like that, I think that's a very big red flag for me.
Mm. Yeah, I can second that. I think there's like, correct me if I'm wrong, if there's like another way to put it. It's like every, would you say like every person should have like these pillars in their life, right? That you should, if anyone comes to break those pillars, that's a big no. Like these pillars in my life, if you even try to damage that pillar, that's a huge no. That's a red flag to kind of idea, right? Is that a like kind of like an analogy to say for you, Stephen?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ashley, what
okay.
about you then? Red flags. As a girl, what do you look for? Red flags. What are you looking out for? Not what do you look for.
Oh.
What are you looking out for?
What am I looking out for? You're asking a girl with like next to no dating. Oh well, no, I have some experience, but like, a red flag, a red flag. I think for me, a red flag would
Do you not
I'm
have
very-
any red flags?
Oh no, I have
You're
red
thinking pretty
flags.
hard.
I know I am thinking really hard. Um, I
Is
think
there
a
a
red.
lot that you're thinking about? Like
I am
that you're
actually like
thinking of?
cycling through a lot. I'm thinking about a lot.
Like just say them out loud. You'll list
She
them out.
just has like a
out loud.
list
Yeah,
of
just
red
list them
flags.
out verbally, yo.
Yeah.
How he treats women that he's not attracted to, how he
Okay.
treats his mom.
Yeah.
A red flag is how if he's passive. I hate passivity. Or um, if he doesn't actually try to get to know you. This one's actually okay, I'll talk about this one. A red flag for me is when um mans doesn't actually try to get to know you. You know what I mean? And
Like only like surface level questions kind of idea.
or not even any questions. So I dated this guy, right? And throughout the entire relationship, I was like, so because sometimes girls will ask, like, why do you love me? I have like right? And now sometimes girls will ask that, or like, what do you like about me? And this guy would always say, oh, I like, I know you, you're so empathetic, or like, I know you. And I'm like, in hindsight, I'm like, boy, you knew nothing about me because you never asked nothing. You never asked me anything. So like, you just, assumed that, I don't know, you either assumed that I agreed with you or like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like a red flag for me is when a guy claims to know you very well, but has not actually demonstrated any efforts to get to know you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. I mean, that's why he's not dating you anymore, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. We move on
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah, I think treating people is a big one, like you were saying. A plus, like ask, like obviously you want to get to know the person. I think I agree with
Sure.
that. And like Epic's Fish was saying, and I think Chat was agreeing too. Like, you should how they treat waiters or waitresses, huge.
Mhm.
That is I agree with that one for sure. That is also something I look for, like thanking your waiter or waitress, or like just small kinds of appreciation. I think it goes a long way, and because that's how you normally act naturally, right? Rather than infatuation and working that way. So I think that's another big thing to look out for sure, for sure. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Do you have any final question to end it off, Stephen, for us?
This is okay. So this is something that I think is that like a bunch of people actually asked me. So I'm gonna kind of, it's like a little bit of a two-part question, but
Yep. Go for it.
so a lot of people ask me this, but actually, and I actually talked about this like before somewhere else, but okay, the first part of the question is who pays for the first date? And the second part of that question is when you're dating, or I guess like we could go into like married too, like if you have thoughts. Well, obviously none of us are married, so it's harder to say, but when like when you're dating slash married, do you think it should be like one person pays more, like, or like whoever can financially pay more, or do you think it should be more like relatively an even split? Should one person kind of give more in terms of like financially? Is it okay for one person to pay more? Stuff like that. But like the general kind of question around that, right?
Mhm.
Around finances especially, yeah, in that situation. So yeah, the first part is who should pay in a first date. I already know Ashley's answer on this, but like who should pay more in the first date?
I always pay on the first
Or
date.
sorry,
No questions asked.
who should pay on the first date?
I always pay on the first date.
This
No
is why
questions
he's got
asked.
a. This is why he's got a girl. This is why he's
Yeah,
got a
like
girl.
This
no
is why
matter
he's got a
what,
girl.
any first date, I will always pay. I will always pay, no matter what. Um, like I
Hmm.
know society says to also do that, like there's societal norms, um,
Yeah,
like the status quo. But like for me, it's just like I just feel like as myself, it's like I should pay for the I should pay for the meal. I just want you to have a good time, right? I don't want anything to weigh upon you, like if the first date goes bad, it's like, oh, like if you pay for it, you feel like you should make it better or anything. I'm like, no, 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 I'll pay for it.
yeah,
Just enjoy your time. Just relax. Just enjoy your time. That's what it's for, right?
yeah,
And then we can just spend time to get to know each other. You don't have to worry about anything else, right? That kind of idea. So I
yeah.
always pay on the first date as a result. But like with Allison also I paid on the first date. But like now that we're together, we've now gone to we'll just go back and forth. You pay for one, I pay for one. You pay for one, I pay for one. Or we just pay for our own things if we go to like a Starbucks or something sometimes,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like it starts to mix and match once you're together with someone. But first date for sure.
So
Yeah.
then the question that everybody wants to know or wanted to know is in terms of society or like most of I think I would say like I don't know if you guys disagree with me, but I think most would agree that guys should pay on the first date. But the question is it ever okay for a guy to not pay on the first date?
Oh
Or not
yes.
want to pay on the first date. Not okay. That's two different questions. I guess. Is it okay for a guy, ever okay for a guy to not pay on the first date? And then the kind of like the obviously the question that's kind of like that. Well, I'm assuming have a different answer is it okay, ever okay for the guy to not want to pay for the other for the first date?
Let me try to go this way. So I think
Yeah,
if there's a agreement to split the bill from the beginning, that's okay.
yeah,
For
that's
me,
okay.
when I ask
Okay,
to split the bill, that's me saying
yeah,
the date is going sour and I don't want to be here anymore.
Mm.
okay,
So that way I've paid for something, you've paid for
yeah,
something, you can't hate me for paying not enough and because this date's not going well, we're done after this, right? So as a result, it's like that's my line. And I think I've heard that girls also take it the same way. If they're adamant that they really want to split the bill, it's a
yeah,
bad sign for the date. Like
yeah, yeah,
like they
yeah.
want out and they don't want anything held against them or you or like held
Okay,
against them or the other person. That kind of idea.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's my view on how I personally take like if I don't ever pay, it's usually because the first date just didn't go well.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And the
Ashley,
sentiment
any thoughts?
here, yeah. D Not So Nice saying, if you expect slash feel entitled to be treated, no bueno. Oh, for sure. For
Mm-hmm.
sure. I
Yeah.
mean, being spoiled is never a good thing, right? Being spoiled is always a bad thing.
But
don't want to
then,
be split.
okay, so on your question that you mentioned earlier, do you think is it always the case that if a girl or guy, well, okay, in this case a girl for sure. I don't know why I said guy, but do you think in a case where if a girl goes, "Hey, I want to split the bill," or like, "Let me pay," whatever, is it always the case of the girl wants out, or is there situations where like the girl genuinely wants to pay for the date, and is that okay?
Oh yeah, that's well. Ashley, what do
Yeah,
you?
that's a hard
That's a
that's a
question for you.
hard yeah, that's a hard question. So like Ashley, for example, yeah, like I think as a girl, it's more like you might have more insight on this, but as a girl, like if you genuinely want to pay for the date or whatever, right? Like is it okay for the guy to kind of be like, "Hey, like I'll let you pay for the first date," or like is it wrong, like is it still in a way of like are you what I don't know what your thoughts are, but like would a girl only go like, "Hey, I want to split," or "I want to pay," if they want out of the date, kind of like what Tommy said, right? Versus like
Um,
what if they genuinely want to pay?
no, I think okay, just the way I was raised. So if I fight back and I'm like, no, like let me help out, let me pitch
Yeah.
in, like, let's split it or something. It's because I was raised that way,
Okay,
not
yeah, for
because
sure.
I'm
Yeah,
actually like, yeah, I actually want out and I want to pay for it, so I don't, and the expectation, I think, there's always a dance, right? In this first date kind of thing. Like I think the expectation is
Hmm.
guys like, I got it, girls like, no, 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 let's split, and guys like, no, 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 I insist, and like this goes back and forth, and then eventually like no one's okay.
Yeah,
You know what I
back and
mean?
forth.
I think
Yeah,
Um
yeah, yeah.
there's like a line where it's like the response is different. So one, like you're saying, like if you were in your tendencies to split, you'd be like, oh no 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 no,
Yeah.
seriously, let me split. Like I don't like, we should just split the bill. It's whatever it is, right? I think that's okay. But then there's like a
Yeah.
difference where it's like, no, let's split.
yeah,
Like a
Yeah.
distinctive
No, yeah.
I
no,
think it's very
No.
easy to tell when that's
Yeah.
the case, though. I think it's very
right?
easy to
Yeah.
tell when the
Yeah,
girl
for
is just like,
sure.
I'm actually going to pay for this
Boba
because I never
Spike.
want to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, so the reason why I think, again, I'm a very traditional person. My views could be very outdated, that could be the case. But when and again, my dating history, though not short, is also not long. So I also have no idea what I'm saying half the time. And
Fine.
this is
Yeah.
just
Hey,
being pulled out of
we're just
my,
us, three random people talking about random things. Yo, no need to apologize. Just say what you need to, girl. Just say what you
okay,
need
so
to.
this is what I think. Okay. I think guys should pay and should be enthusiastic about paying.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um,
Sure.
because well, like evolutionarily there's an explanation, and I kind of went over this in like a podcast I had on my own channel, Billy Girl Emoji, check me out, but like, shameless self plug. But like
Great
there
plug.
is
Great plug.
down the line girls will eventually have to pay a higher price for many many things, right? And to me, when a guy, I go out on a date with a guy and he offers to pay, um to me that says it's not even about the money, right? Or about generosity. It's the fact that, okay, if he's willing to um put money down like this, it means he's actually serious about something with me. And we don't have to get married or anything long term, but it shows that he is serious about his intentions with me,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Inevitably, and I think we can all agree on this, girls will eventually pay back for that first date hundreds of
Oh
times
yeah, for
over,
sure.
right? I mean, we're the
Oh
ones who
yeah.
give birth, we're the ones who are
Okay,
more
I did.
likely.
I wasn't going in that
No, no, no,
direction, but
no,
that's
no, no.
true. That's
Again,
true.
That's true. That's
but
true.
I'm
That's
speaking
true.
from like an
General.
evolutionary
Yeah.
standpoint, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
biologically, there's that price to pay, but even like socially, right? Even socially, um, so Epic Fish says, I think that paying for a partner is something that should be part of an open discussion. I've been with girls who expected it and some girls who would be so uncomfortable if someone paid for them. And again, right, like every girl is different. So I can only speak from my own experience. But for me, that's kind of where my mind is heading. So if, a guy is very eager to like let me pay for it, or that actually happened once, ugh, gross. But like the guy's like very eager to let me pay for it, or like, is down to split, to me that says that okay, maybe this guy's not as serious about this. And I'm just the type of dater who takes relationships and dates a little more like heavily, a little more severely, So I think if it were like, two buddies getting together and they think they're each other, they think the other person's cute and they just want to like see where it's sure, like splitting it is, keeps things lighthearted. But for me as somebody who like um goes on dates and does start dating with the intention to see if this person could be like the one for me long term, it
Yeah.
it speaks a lot. And and if I were a dude, I know this for a fact, like I know this in my bone of bones, and sometimes I wish I were a dude because sometimes I do want to like, and like sometimes I hear some of my like female friends going off about their guys, and I'm like, man, if I was a dude, like yo, you would never, these words would never leave your mouth. But, like if I was a dude, I would 100% pay for the first date also.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, with to answer like the thought of like Epic's first statement of like thinking that the girl has to owe you. Usually, like I think someone stated like if there's like a bubble tea or a dessert thing after, just be like, hey, you can, if you really feel like you want to, you can definitely like buy that for me, whatever it is. Like there's like other ways you can talk about it, but definitely should be open to discussion. Like
Yeah.
the big thing here is understanding like communication is key. There has to be some kind of communication, right? Like the way you explain your thoughts, just like Ashley's explaining her thoughts to someone, or like things like that. Like it's fair to listen and to understand that. Like, and both parties, if you feel uncomfortable, should have the conversation. If so, on the date, I think that tells a lot about a person too, right?
Yeah.
Just to be able to have a conversation about that, like a topic like that, it shouldn't be something that gets you upset. It shouldn't be like something that should be sensitive. It's just a general topic, and I think that's okay to talk about. It's not like you're talking about politics or something like that on the first date. Which please don't talk about politics unless the person really loves politics. But yeah, like I think it's a good conversation to definitely have.
Yeah.
I definitely feel you on the side of like dating for like long term only though. I've definitely fallen into that, like for I think all of my dating experience, to be honest with you. I've always had that intention as well. Yeah.
I feel like I should yeah. I
You
just
should
I
what?
just I should not just assume that, well, like I just honestly, so for me personally, I just pay, like,
Yeah,
and
that's
like
fine.
and like I don't even wait. I use other methods, and I like pay beforehand, like
Oh
pay in
dang.
between meals. Like, yeah. Don't worry. I have my
Oh,
ways.
my
I'm
excuse
very
is always, hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to the washroom. That's always my excuse.
I mean,
That's always
that's
that.
not
It
a bad
works. It
excuse.
works
It works. It
nine
works.
times out of
Yeah,
10. Nine
nine
times
times
out
out
of
of
10.
10. Don't worry. I
Nine times
have
out of
many
10.
other ways that I just pay. Yeah. Sometimes I call ahead and I just like pay. I just tell them a heads up. I'm just like, yeah, like I'm coming in for a date. Like I'm gonna pay for everything just beforehand. It's fine.
Yeah. Just enjoy your time. Just have
Just
a good
enjoy your
time.
time.
It's just like let's just talk, let's chill, let's have a good time.
Yeah,
I don't want it to be any stressful for you, that kind of idea. I think that's
yeah,
good. That's good.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people are always shook. Like they never see me pay, and then I'm just like, yeah, like don't worry. Like I just walk out after we eat. It's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, then they have a very
Yeah,
confused look on themselves. Yeah.
they're just like,
That's
what
always
happened?
good.
I'm
That's
like,
gold.
yeah, don't worry. Just
Come on, let's go.
yeah, just let's go. Like
Let's go.
meals
Come
already
on.
paid for. When did you pay? Just sometimes in
Just don't worry about it.
between.
Let's go.
Yeah.
First dine and ditch experience,
No. I
Dine and
never
dash.
dine and ditch.
Oh,
I've
dine and
never
dash.
I've never dined and
No,
dashed.
no. But I
Never in
mean,
my
like
life.
the girl is just like you're just getting up and walking out, or you like.
Yeah.
Oh
I've had friends steal a sushi boat though from Loblaws.
a, like a whole boat.
Like a whole boat of sushi.
Okay.
I asked them how they
So-
did it,
Hold on.
and they literally said we picked it up and we walked out, and that was it. No
I
questions
mean,
asked.
I mean, Loblaws. I don't think there's that much security. Like,
Also,
I was very
Loblaws,
confused.
supermarket sushi in general.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
like-
not that
like,
great, but hey, if it's
feels-
free, it tastes like honey. All right.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, but that's a completely different topic. That's
I once accidentally ditched the table at a bar, but the bartender called me and realized it was a genuine mistake. Oh yeah, like I've definitely had that happen. Like sometimes, like when I go to all you can eats, I like order so much that I'm just so out of it, and then sometimes I just kind of like leave, and I'm like, oh,
Oh, I don't think I've ever had
Yeah.
that for me.
or like I've had it. Yeah, I've definitely had that mistake sometimes, but.
Yeah. I've forgotten
Anyways.
tip before though. I've definitely forgotten
Oh,
tip once,
I've also
and I felt
yeah.
so bad about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm so
True.
sorry.
All right. Well, final thoughts. So we talked about family, friendships, and romantic relationships. Just some final thoughts. Out of the three that we talked about, do you guys think if there is one that is more important than others? If so, or if not, yeah, what are your thoughts? Like the question was around, well, okay, so the question that was asked, I kind of tweaked it a little bit, but the question that was asked to me was, is family more important than friends? But then I guess I also added the third, romantic like partners, which I mean technically I guess if they marry they are part of the family, right? So like is there one that's more important? Is it like just different? Yeah, what are your thoughts about that?
Hold on, give me some time to think.
I don't think. I think asking which one is most important kind of like falsely dichotomizes it.
Okay.
But like
Yeah.
I think you need all of them because without friends, right? Without expanding your social circle, how will you like you just like you limit yourself, you limit your resources, you limit and again I'm just speaking as a psych student, right? Like you can't have just family, but at the
Yeah.
same time you also can't have just friends, right? Because like it's among your friends in my mind ideally, right? Where like you meet your romantic partner, right? And then your romantic partner will eventually become a spouse
Yeah.
that is your family. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of which is more important. I think it depends on the life stage you're in. You know, like as
Okay.
a child, obviously your family is going to be the most important, right? Because that's your rock, that's your foundation.
Yeah,
But then as
your
as a young
parents.
adult, that might be different. As you're
Mhm.
discovering your own independence, like we humans kind of naturally define themselves by the people around them, right? And so when you're on your like soul searching, your friends may actually become more useful here and kind of carving that identity for yourself. And then when you're maybe you know a little older than that and you're looking for a mate to settle down, then maybe romantic relationships will become more important to you, you know,
Yeah.
if romance is something that you're looking for in a spouse. But yeah, I don't know, that would be my answer.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with the life stages, right? I think during different life stages and stuff like that, you'll start to like have different priorities. But I think a better way I would put it is like if I had to pick, um, like if I was in like young adult, early teens, like late teens, I would say friends first. But but that's because like that's the group I interact with the most,
Mm.
right? Because I honestly don't interact with my parents that much on a regular basis. However,
Yeah.
if you put me in a death, like life or death situations where I have to, like, you know, the whole situation, like question of would you like pick this
Yeah.
person
Like who
over
would you
this person,
save?
I would
Yeah.
100% save my family. Like, I
Okay.
think there's like this unspoken connection of family where
Yeah.
they are above and beyond in those dire situations, right?
Okay.
But otherwise, when you're living everyday life, you might even have friends and family on the same level. Like, friends are your family at a certain point, right?
Yeah.
And for some, I know there are situations where like your family aren't your family anymore.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, there's just a point where your connections are so bad, or it's a really toxic and abusive relationship with your family,
Yeah,
that it's better to
definitely.
just cut them out, right? And then your friends become your new family. So I think that's the whole idea there. And then once you start sticking in romantic relationships, if I'm engaged or married to that person's first and foremost, assuming they are a decent person. If they are just at a girlfriend stage, maybe not. Family's probably first. If they are at a girlfriend stage, but if it's engagement to marriage, 100%, I think
Yeah.
romantic relationships will be first.
All right, Allison, better get married to Tommy soon. Get on that family level. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I totally agree with both of you. I think it's not about, or there's no like one that's like super more important than the other, but it's definitely about, it definitely changes, and your priority of what's important definitely changes based on your situation as well. As Tommy said, like if you have a very toxic family maybe growing up, or like if you're not really super close with your like blood family, and if that's the case, then yeah, like friends or like guardians, or people who that you grew up with might become your family, right? And like they're not necessarily blood related, but they might be considered family, and uh, that's more important to you, then yeah, like it could be the case. Or yeah, depending on life stages, as Ashley said, where if you're a kid, it's unlikely that like friends will you will prioritize friends, especially as a kid, over family. And like at that point, you don't even have a romantic. Well, I don't know. Like I can't speak for everyone, but I'm
Right.
assuming at like the age of like 2, 3, you're not gonna have a romantic relationship,
I hope not.
and you're not gonna prioritize. You're not gonna prioritize
I really
that
hope not.
over like a family, right? So yeah, I think there's a lot of aspects to it. I have Tab unmuted, so I heard that. Steven heard what?
Oh,
Heard
like you
oh
telling her
yeah,
to marry
to
me.
get married. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry, Ashley. I'll get or Allison, I'll give you like 80% discount on your wedding, okay? Yeah. Ninety
Oh
percent
my.
discount. 80 to 90% discount.
90%
Yeah,
discount. That's
90%
a
discount.
spicy discount.
That's a spicy discount. Um, but yeah, like I think it depends on life stages, and it depends on a lot of situation. And there's definitely only pay. Definitely depends on, yeah, like how like what we're talking about, right? Depends on the relationships that you have with your family, friends, as well as romantic. Depending on how they go and how they are, one could definitely be more prioritized, and one could definitely be more important in a way. But I think overall, as Ashley mentioned earlier, all three is definitely needed, and I think it's not healthy to have just one. And I think it's not good to just like focus on one so much, that the other two are like not there, non-existent at all.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a great place to end it here,
yeah.
folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. We went a whole 2 hours and 20, well, 2 hours and like 10 minutes. Yo, crazy. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was awesome. Pass the salt. We do this every month. Sometimes it's a podcast, sometimes it's a special interview. So for the month of May, we do have a special interview lined up. If you want to see more of us doing our podcast idea, please let us know if you want it like bi-weekly. Probably not weekly. Weekly might be a little too much. But if you guys want it bi-weekly, like every 2 weeks, let us know if you're
Wow, only
interested. We'd
everyone's.
be we'd be doing like
We'll
we'd be
think.
happy to
We'll
do
think
it like
about it.
bi-weekly. We'd
We'll,
be happy to do it bi-weekly, I'm sure. Assuming that our schedule works out. So maybe we'll see what we can do. But if you are interested in this happening more often, let us know. It's fun talking with each other and fun talking to you guys in chat. So that's really awesome. Steven, Ashley, why don't you guys plug yourselves? Where can they find you?
just look up yellow girl emoji on. Well, I guess I should be pointing out. Just look up yellow girl emoji on Twitch,
Where are
and
you pointing? Oh,
I here I'm
I
pointing.
was like, where are you pointing?
Yellow
True.
girl emoji on Twitch.
True.
That's where you can find me. And we have fun there too sometimes. Not as much fun as lately salted TV, but
What? Way to
alright.
downplay yourself. Don't downplay
Wow.
yourself, yo.
You know,
Yo,
gotta
make sure you
stay
check out
humble,
Ashley's stream,
Yes,
twitch.tv/yellowgirl emoji, as well as her Discord if you want to join her Discord as well. She has a really cool community, really open to different kinds of conversations. She's an awesome person, as you guys already know from listening to our conversation, so check her out. Steven, where can they find you?
You can find me at my username also down below. I don't know where it's like on the you can't see
Yeah,
it.
there
It's
you go.
like
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
yeah, there you go. At World's Chillest Kid, twitch.tv/World's Chillest Kid. I actually just did my second stream ever
Let's
today.
go.
Nice.
You can check that out. I put it in highlights because I had to trim it a little bit, so it's in the highlights. But my first stream is up as well. It's just me eating, to be honest. But I'm also doing a lot of gaming streams this week. I'll be streaming a lot. Started this week, but I'll be like streaming almost every day, every week. So catch me whenever you can. My schedule is on my channel. I usually stream in the evenings. I stream food, chatting, games, a lot of things. But yeah, check me out, join, come hang out, chat, have fun.
Whoa. Yeah, so that, like, once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Check Steven out, World's Chillest Kid. Once again, he started streaming. He's doing mukbangs. Those are awesome. He's put a lot of time into it, setting up. So make sure you check him out. If you want someone to eat with, Steven will eat with you, baby.
Yeah, I'll
No
eat with you
problem.
any day. Like, if you message me at like 3 a.m. and are like, hey, I need someone to eat with at 3 a.m., like, I'll be there. Like,
Yo, he's
Yeah.
got you covered. So make
got
sure
you
you check
covered.
him out. And of course, myself, you can find me on Twitter as well as like Instagram at Tauru. Otherwise, I'm with Lightly Salted TV here. So come tune in to us. We stream Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 8:30, and then we have these Pass This Out podcasts and interviews once every month. So our next stream will be on Wednesday at 8:30, and it will be a gaming stream with myself. So if you're interested in just tuning in for that, please feel free to join us. Otherwise, I'm going to end it here with Steven and Ashley. I'll end the stream as well because I got some couple other announcements to make. So everyone say bye to Steven and Ashley. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye. All right. So with that being said, let's end it off here. So some final announcements that we're going to do here today. So number one, we do have our ARAM tournament on May 22nd. So please come join us for that. Signups end on May 1st. So please make sure you come tune in for that. ARAM is all random, all mid mode in League of Legends. So if you want to play a casual game of League of Legends, we do have prizes for first place team, $50 for the first place team, no sign up fee. If you want to win some free money and have a competitive environment, come join us or tell your friends to sign up. It's going to be a great time. So May 1st is our deadline. That's coming up soon. That's the end of this week, as well as our tournament date specifically on May 22nd. So please make sure you sign up for that. Our next Lightly Salted podcast is going to be next month. I don't think we have a specific date just yet, but it will most likely be at on a Monday at 8:30. There is no Valil tournament for us yet, but we'll figure it out there. As well, just to say thank you to those who have followed today. Akra Jaboa, thank you for the follow. Minisonic123, thank you for the follow. Spicy Boy, thank you for the follow. Walski Beats, thank you for the follow. C4 the Bomb 1, thank you for the follow. Sway Kage, thank you for the follow. Batty Dan, thank you for the follow. Boskatung, I don't know how you say that, man, but thank you for the follow. Stephen Leaf 12, thank you for the follow. Epics Fish, thank you for the follow. XDXD, thank you for the follow. Mikhail, thank you for the follow. And Royal Archer, thank you for the follow. And yes, the Mimikyu is pretty awesome. So, thank you so much for tuning in. As I end stream, we are a Christian channel, so we do pray to end. So if you want to stay for prayer, please stay. Otherwise, you're free to go. Dear God, thank you so much for such an awesome time with the podcast with Ashley, Stephen, and myself, with the chat as well, being able to talk about different types of relationships here, sharing our stories and our opinions, Lord. It's just a great time, and may we continue to have these conversations and just share your love throughout the gaming community here, Lord. Thank you once again for all that you do, and I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. So, Take care, everybody. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of the night, and I'll see you on Wednesday at 8:30. Peace out, everybody.